Good morning, Ratman. I'm your host, and joining me is my co-host, Nurklid.
Great. I love how you're bringing it to our fans.
Yeah.
This is exactly why I drew you with a receding hairline.
Yeah, thanks. For the record, Nurklid comes from, I had a dream once where Corgi changed her name on Discord to Nurklid, and I didn't know who this was, so I almost blocked her because she sent me a message and it was like, you have a message from Nurklid. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And I went to block her and I opened it and realized it was Corgi. And then when I woke up, I changed her name on our Discord channel to Nurklid. So,
excellent story.
yeah.
Wish you didn't include it.
Yeah, speaking of sleep, this is going to be like a 4-hour recording, 3-hour recording, something like that. I have slept for 2 hours. Not for lack of trying, mind you. This wasn't a Che worked through the night. I went to bed at 12, and then I fell asleep at 1:30, and then I woke up at about 4, and then 3:30, and then I could not get back to sleep, and I just lay in bed until it was 9, and then I went, I guess I'm up now, and then I got up. So, you know, fun times.
I slept wonderfully, thanks for asking.
Yeah. So I have to do this recording 2 hours of sleep. And my brain's not entirely all there, but again, not for lack of trying. I did it. There was an attempt at sleep. I was in bed for 8 hours. I did not sleep for 8 hours. Not even fucking close.
So if that reflects in the recording, too bad, so sad.
If anything, it'll make the recording more insane.
That's possible.
Yeah. I haven't slept, and I'm on meth. Again, not
prescribed meth.
Yeah. Anyway, today's episode is brought to you by our comic, and also Rats, and also the Rats that secretly write and draw the comic that we claim credit for. We did one about the Terminus Decree. No one watched it. Also, one on the Orcs. Everyone watched that one. Probably going to make a short because a lot of people are confidently incorrect, and I need to do like a tight 3 minutes to explain Orc magic, but also I might just make a video on the Orcs instead.
It's not individual faith-based.
Yeah, maybe I'll do both. I also posted that on Reddit, and Corgi's been reading a lot of people actually like explain in detail how that works, how Orc magic works. So
It's so funny how some of them are like, but that is how it works. Yeah. I read the codices.
Yeah.
Did you?
It's complicated is the best way to describe it. It's complicated. It's not an exactly that's not how orcs work. It is fundamentally not how orcs work, but it is at least a little more complicated than a simple no. It's a no asterisk.
In other words, orcs equal magic? Yeah. No. A very complicated magic system,
yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, the comment thing, I asked people to like leave comments and it did nothing, so I won't be doing that at the beginning of the episode. If you do want to do that. But also YouTube has that new feature, allegedly, maybe hit that or don't, up to you. I genuinely have no idea how to do it, by the way. I looked, couldn't find it, just got an email that it was available. Now, I wrote that weeks ago.
Hit that button.
Yeah, I wrote that weeks ago without actually naming the feature. It's called Hype. You can find it, hit it. Today we are covering the Gloomspite Gitz in a script I started writing literally a year ago. I had to delete a bunch of old references. I referenced the King Charles, the recent visit he did. That was late October last year. I referenced an ominous photo. I looked, don't know what photo that was. So you know what's hard to summarize? The Gloomspite Gitz. It's why we're late. Also, Corgi being like, I can't live in a room that gets direct sunlight and 34 degrees heat with 14 UV rating and an 80% humidity because you live in tropical swampland and no aircon. And all of a sudden, I have to start dealing with tradies and getting shit installed.
You're the one that invited me to live with you, man.
Yeah, but anyway, I was just like reading the book, having a panic attack, wondering how the fuck I'm going to structure this. Like, usually I have an idea from the get-go. This was a fucking mess. And we'll have sudden tangents where I need to explain things. I also had to use 2 different battle terms and a bunch of false starts where I would start writing and then the tradie would be like, I have to turn the power off now. Plus, side of this getting delayed an extra week, which ended up being 2 weeks, is that it gave me even more time to turn what was going to be a 2-part episode into a 1-part episode. Very, very dense. This will probably be a long one. We are already 15 minutes into the recording.
We are? Oh, shit. 3-hour recording, he says. No, with us it's going to be 6.
Should I have made this a two-part? Yes. But it
we
ruins
going to?
the flow. So no, it won't be.
Oh dear.
There's also a joke of YouTubers competing to see who can make the longest videos. Which, this is going to be a fucking marathon. I think I've said before, the average script length is about 6 pages. This script length is 16! That's a full 10 pages more than our average script length.
Good job.
It's more than double.
Remember to count.
So, Corgi, you're ready to start on the Gloomspite's 15 minutes of recording?
I know that tone.
No, this is we're gonna be here for a while.
Okay, I can handle that tone, but
yeah. Okay, so during the Age of Myth, the early days.
Where the fairies ruled the land, and then the elves had to get this magic ring from this really old angel that fell.
What? Editing room Che here. We proceed to talk about Lord of the Rings for 4.5 minutes. It's not even good. It's getting completely deleted. Anyway, so, Age of Myth. The early days. All greenskins worked together following Gorkamorka. Gorkamorka, that, for those that don't know, in Age of Sigmar, Gork and Mork are one two-headed god, Gorkamorka. They sort of split, but can remerge to form Vorktron. I'm pretty sure Gork and Mork being one god is actually the case in 40k. There's a reference, I believe, to the Kroot god fighting the god of the orcs and splitting him in two, which the general consensus when I was reading about this years ago was that's weirdly specific to not be true. The Grots, right, that being the sort of goblin guys, Corgi, that fight with the orcs, and the focus of today's episode. Also, Grots, while being like small goblins, it's worth noting they are short in an orc sense. They are hunched down and probably like 3 to 4-ish feet tall. And now, admittedly, this is from Prophet of Dewar, but it's probably considered Prophet of Dewar as a 40k book.
I kind of guessed from Da.
Well, it's actually called Prophet of the War, but I hate it. It should have been called Prophet of Dewar.
Yeah, seriously.
But orcs in Age of Sigmar and Fantasy are also Dewar. They just don't spell orcs with a K. They spell it with a C. But they still talk about Dewar and shit. We'll get to that. There's some orky stuff in here. Or greenskin stuff. But it's a grot standing up straight is close to the size of a smaller human. Makari is almost like eye to eye with a 5'4"-ish woman. So slightly shorter than you, Corgi.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Like when you're thinking about a grot and it talking about like these are small guys, again, slightly shorter than you. But
not by much.
Yeah. And they're not orc strong, but still strong. Point is, the way all these settings talk about grots paints a very different experience to what it is actually like facing a grot. They're cowards and would rather stab you in the back when you're not looking. But they're still probably just win a hand-to-hand fight with most people. They aren't fun, goofy things to fight. They are nightmares, and they will bite you.
Like, are we talking Goblin Slayer kind of nightmares? Or...
No.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because it's weird.
Greenskins don't have any sex or gender or sexual organs.
Yeah, because they reproduce spice balls.
Yeah.
I guess doubly so for these guys.
Talking sex and gender with the boys. Talking sex and gender with the biggies.
Oh,
I am looking forward to the Gaz episode because I get to bring up exactly what that meme is referencing. the Gaz episode where they get into a whole argument with a space marine about sex and gender. It's fucking great. Now, for reasons unknown, right? The Grots left Gorkamorka. The two potential listed reasons were either they were ordered away by Gorkamorka or they got into an argument over some gubbins. That's gubbins with a Z, by the way. Gubbins is going to come up a lot. If you don't know gubbins,
it sounds like candy.
Yeah, it's a British term for like things, just stuff. You got your gubbins.
Oh, like
That's
bobbins.
It. Yeah. It doesn't pop up in Australian English all that much, but I do use it and have done for years. My wife and I use it a lot, and gubs as well. We'll just be like, oh yeah,
gubs, not dubs.
Yeah. prior, the spare room used to be called the Gubs room, and it was just like,
And
oh,
now
I
it
think it's
still
in the
is.
Gubs room, because it would just be, that's where all our gubbins are. Now it's slowly getting cleaned out because someone has to go live there.
That's where the gubbins lived, but now it's going to be where the goblin lives.
Yeah. No, the goblin room is the door under the stairs.
I thought that was... never mind.
It's like a 2 foot tall door that goes under the stairwell. It's full of poison. Poison and paint, because I don't want to store them anywhere else.
Oh, really? You don't want to store the fucking poison paint in your office? Wild.
Now, I am writing this next part in a waiting room, being forced to listen to Taylor Swift, and I hate it. This was before
Shut up. Do not.
new albums came out.
No. I am, as co-owner, I am vetoing this whole section. Get it out
I
of
don't
here.
think you are co-owner, but that's fine.
I am co-owner.
All the Grots, we'll
co-owner.
get back here. Anyway, all the Grots went their different ways, and as time passed, each formed their own culture, which we'll talk about as they come up. Hey, now they're playing the soundtrack to Hercules. Zero to Hero is a pretty good song, not gonna lie.
This episode is exactly what should be the trailer for our fucking channel.
That was us getting back to it. We won't talk about the Taylor Swift stuff. A woman I know next to nothing about, and everything I know about is against my will, but you know.
Ditto here. I did not need to know half of those memes, but then you were like, ha! Curse of Apollo.
I can't be the only one cursed with knowledge.
Then curse your wife. She's legally obligated to.
I
deal
did!
with that. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can get more people with this. I could spread it.
Again.
If you got infected by the ring, the whole world would be fucked.
Back to Lord of the Rings. Literally, I was thinking that in Shadow of Mordor, or Shadow of Mordor, either one. When
Mordor?
Yeah, that's what I call it. When Celebrimbor grabs his face, he goes, "Suffer me now!" And that's what I think about every single time when I send people horrible things. Just be like, I'm cursed with knowledge. Suffer me now. And they go, wow, you didn't have to send that to me. And I go, yeah, you did.
Everyone must suffer because I have.
Look at the lyrics to Taylor's new song. Look at them. Anyway.
Stay away from them. Remain innocent.
Unlike most factions where there is minimal difference between the sub-factions and we tend to cover them all in a separate video, the Gloomspite Gitz are actual massive differences. So when they come up, I'm going to have to explain them.
The difference is purely mycological.
Sure. But for the most part, grots are all burrowed deep underground due to their light sensitivity. The sun hurts their eyes. For the record, this will come up again. There is no sun in Age of Sigmar. The word is used, but the sun refers to Heish, the realm of light, that is so bright it can be seen from every other realm. I would imagine not well in Ulgu, the realm of shadows, but it is still there. The Grots, however, now absent a god, that being, they split from Gorkamorka.
Yeah, they're like, wow, 2 whole god options? No thanks.
Well, 1 whole god option. They went in search of a new one, and they all decided on the same one. An eldritch being that exists in the void between space. Where the Skaven live.
Yeah.
Yeah. This malevolent entity is known as the Bad Moon. So, you know how Old World Corgi has the Angry Moon?
No.
I've talked about the Angry Moon before. Every now and then
forgotten.
I'll reference that Old World has 2 moons. It has the normal moon and the angry moon.
What, so like tragedy and comedy?
Sort of.
Oh wow, that is a pissed off moon.
Yeah. So the angry moon is a joke name, I call it. It's actually called More Sleep. This fills the same role as More Sleep, the angry moon. The difference being its actual name is the Bad Moon. It is called the Bad Moon. That's its name.
So you're telling me that there's a bad moon on the rise.
This this is the depiction on the left of the Bad Moon and their depiction on the right of the sun. Just wait.
So the sun is the goblin technology from World of Warcraft.
Sure. I've never played it, but sure. Just wait till you find out the name of the sun. We'll get there eventually. It'll be about 2 hours, but we'll get there. You ever have a fly trapped in your room and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, usually it's me.
Yeah, and it's just like buzzing all the time, so you can't even catch it, and then you try to shoo it, and it refuses, and you slowly descend into madness. There's a widely hated Breaking Bad episode about that, which is wrong. It's one of the best. Point is, I could tank Cthulhu because he's be all like, "Suffer me now." This is in the script. Remember when I said "suffer me now"? That's in the script. I reference this so much in my head. And I just go, yeah, nah. You ever had a fly in your room? That's worse than this. This is relevant because that's what the bad moon does. The bad moon flies around randomly in the void, crashing into celestial bodies and sending them off into space, or ripping chunks off larger moons it crashes into. At one point, it tried to bite off Dracothian's head. That's the god dragon friend of Sigmar.
Yeah, and how'd that go?
It didn't work, obviously, but the bad moon's still there. The bad moon just does wacky shit wherever it ends up. It immediately starts mushroom growth wherever its light touches, including through stone and also people, blocks out all light, makes people go mad, including speaking or rather singing, rhyming old songs in long dead languages. Like, imagine the moon gets a frowny face, then the guy next to you just starts singing Wonderwall in Old English, and the other guy next to you becomes the Last of Us, and you're just sitting there being like, this is great. Also, it just fucks with prophecy.
Okay, but this genuinely might be my faction, because what you're describing is pretty much very similar to Hasta, the King in Yellow, because people who are subjected to his play or his influence, they either create horrifying masterpieces of literature, painting, music, anything in the art form, or they just go fucking crazy enough to kill people. And some iterations even have it like mutating someone.
We'll get to some of that. There is some of that later on. We're gonna have so much end of video content for what is already gonna be an exhaustively long. I just wanted to be known. We're 40 minutes of the recording right now, on page 3 of 16. Let's go.
Well, this was your idea, man.
I've slept 2 hours.
So technically your idea.
It also just fucks with prophecy, that being the bad moon. There definitely wasn't like a 10-minute break between the last sentence and this sentence, and I have to remind Corgi what we're actually talking about. So,
thank you.
How that one works, the fucking with prophecy, no fucking clue. It's just like, it does. It keeps saying it does, and it doesn't explain how it does. Just that it does.
Like the Lego movie prophecy.
Yeah, it's just like, prophecies won't come true. And it's like, were they supposed to come true? We won't answer this. Anyway, much like the angry moon, it will just start throwing rocks at people. This is the only way to get a mineral unique to the bad moon. Loonstone. Loonstone is predominantly mined by the moon clans and glows yellow when someone nearby is thinking treacherous thoughts. In the possession of a grot, it is always glowing yellow. Here's a quote. Then there's the Loonstone's ability to absorb magic, especially the Wa energy of the Uruks. Many boss grots have grasped that the cruel boys grow more cunning the more of the Wa builds, and seeks to harness this crafty power for themselves. Some have even sent lads, with a Z, to infiltrate the hobgrot mobs that follow the cruel boys to war, while carrying Loonstone trinkets to suck up the Finken juice. End quote.
It's just a glorified sponge that they
I told you there's going to be some awkwards in here.
It most certainly did.
Yeah. Hobgrots use a lot of explosives. The grots don't. This leads to a lot of accidental explosion-related grot death. It is worth noting that the grots are incapable of generating their own Wa. So instead, the bad moon fills in and creates the Gloomspite, hence the name, that basically functions the exact same way a Wa does. They can also use Loonstone to absorb Wa energy and create a sort of false Wa.
The false Wa effect.
The Wa is a concept, a complicated concept. The Wa is what orc magic comes in. It's slightly different in fantasy, but
it's basically faith.
It imbues. It has a physical stuff. It's like, okay. So you have to remember, orcs are based on football hooligans. Greenskin. You know how occasionally you have like one dipshit football hooligan and he's like, I'm a bit of a dipshit, but like social pressure prevents me from being a dipshit. And then you get like 1,000 fuckwits all merging together and they go, all right, lads. And then they fucking burn a half a city to the ground because they're being fuckwits. Because one dipshit has merged into 1,000 fuckwits, and 1,000 fuckwits are fucking stupid, and the social pressure to not be a fuckwit has gone away. That's what a war is. A war is 1,000 fuckwits all around each other, no longer having the social pressure to not be fuckwits. Yeah. So they get like bold and fighty and like
bold with an O, not with an A.
Yeah. Greenskins are bold, but when they don't want to be, squig.
But when they don't want to be, they just throw some moss on their head. Ta-da, toupee.
Nope. Squig. But anyway, moving on from what the fuck a war is, hopefully that made sense. It did seem to make sense to Corgi, but hopefully it made sense to anyone who doesn't already know what a war is. And like a war field and, that sort of stuff. Why is that
goblin so fucking caked up?
You're the one that drew the gubbins. Anyway, how the bad moon came to be, nobody knows, Corgi. Some grots say Gorkamorka saw the moon floating through space and decided to eat it, but it was too tough, and all he could do was scar its surface. But it also imbued it with the powers and the elements of sentience. Others say that Gorkamorka saw the moon reflected in the sea and decided to eat it. But by jumping into the sea, he splashed so hard his own reflection crashed into the moon above, and that's why it looks like that. Some think that all the Grot Shaman's souls got all mushed together and it became the bad moon. Some think it's a warship Gorkamorka sailed on. The Gitmobs believe it's the eye of the Big Howler, a giant wolf. Some believe the Troggoths' ancestors were once spacefaring and came from the bad moon in spaceships and settled the mortal realms. The Spiderfang thinks it's a giant spider egg that will hatch and turn everything into spiders.
Jar of spiders.
We'll be back shortly with the bad moon, but back to the age of myth. It was during this time that Boingob, the god beast of Squigs, got pissed at Heish hurting its eyes and tried to eat it. He promptly exploded in an explosion so bright that it could be seen across all 8 realms. His skull landed in Girin and became a holy site for the Moonclan. Now, this episode is already dense enough, so I'm not going to explain Squigs. One day, I'll do an episode that explains Squigs in each setting, because I don't know if there'll be enough for like a solo episode to explain Squigs in a single setting, so I can just hit the 3 settings, Squigs.
And I will keep drawing goblins with various accessories.
Yep. So, Gorkamorka joined the Pantheon of Order under Sigmar's guidance. As we know, this whole kind of thing went tits up. It's still around, just a loosely held together than before, and a few people left, notably Gorkamorka and Nagash. Eventually, Gorkamorka got bored of all the senseless violence. Eventually, Gorkamorka got bored of all the sensible violence and the rules and regulations. Probably had to fill out a risk assessment and incident reports. And he quit. Started a war, and the bad moon joined in.
We don't need to talk about OSHA.
Yeah.
Orc safety, health, and...
Yep. Yeah, you got that. Congratulations.
I almost said alliance, but then I was like, no, that is super not what they're for.
But he started a war. And the bad moin joined in. So many of the Grots joined this great rampage across the cosmos. This revolution helped weaken the forces of order for the coming age of chaos. Way to go, orcs.
Good job. Oh wait.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
I only said 1 applause. That's 10 points from you.
No. Okay. Enter the Age of Chaos. The Grots were pretty swiftly attacked from wherever they were. However, Fungoid Cave Shaman Zigsnack, a master horde. Fungoid Cave Shaman Zigsnack.
How dare you?
Get used to some fucking names.
Oh, what? Sorry, Fungoid isn't the weirdest one. Fungoid.
No, Fungoid Cave Shaman is his rank. He's not just a shaman. He's not just a cave shaman. He's a fungoid cave shaman.
Fungoid sounds like the word that red pillars would use for a woman that, like, looks like she might have, you know, like, a yeast infection or something. It's just like, oh, yeah, that foid, yeah, she's a straight-up fungoid or something.
Bro out here inventing new slurs. Jesus, okay.
If it was gonna be any one of us, it was gonna be me. No one hates me like I hate me.
Alright, fungoid.
How fucking dare you? I'll tell your wife. And then get a confused question mark from her. I'm at work. Why did you send me this? Now I'm back to
It's a public holiday. She's not at work. Anyway, fucking Zigsnack amasses a horde and mounts a defense against Corgus Cool and his Beastman army. But with the Bad Moon at their back and powering them up, they rally to fight the Gore Tide and get absolutely dismantled. And the Bad Moon pretty much sits out the entire Age of Chaos after this. All the Moon clans go into hiding underground, only ever showing up if they know they are definitely going to win. Here's a quote. The Troggoths, meanwhile, responded to the ascent of chaos in the same way they respond to everything else, by standing around picking their nose, staring gormlessly at the tortured sky, and bludgeoning anything that comes close until it stops moving. Mood.
Also me.
Yeah. There is a battle that took place in a Carrack where Tzeentchian forces were fighting dwarves, and while fighting, they broke through an old tomb that just happened to be full of Troggoths, who were none too happy about having their hibernation stopped. The forces of Tzeentch.
Not gonna lie, I heard tomb and I was like, oh great, now the Necrons are getting in on this fucking shit.
No. There's no Tomb Kings either, which are basically the Necrons in Old World. But
Tomb Kings and their Tomb Raiders.
Yeah. The forces of Tzeentch kept casting illusions and trying to get them to stop their march towards them. And they did finally stop when Trog boss Brug managed to reach a greater demon called the Phantom Lord and choke him to mist. The
Phantom Lord.
Just imagine you're a demon and then a giant Troggoth walks up to you and then chokes you until you turn into mist. And the rest of the demons are looking at that guy. Oh no.
You got killed by a fucking thing that lives underground? Look, man. I don't know what to fucking tell you. That thing was scary.
Oh, that was actually an off.
Mushrooms.
That was off script. I actually wrote a joke about this. Hold on, we'll get to that. The Troggoths were eventually all killed, but it gave the dwarves enough time to escape. Also, imagine being the greater demon who had reappeared in the war and had to explain to all the other greater demons that you were in fact not killed by some great hero or sorcerer, but instead choked to death by some random troll that didn't take too kindly to your illusions of food. It is at this point we are going to take a pivot to talk about Troggoths. We'll come back to them briefly later to talk about one specific guy, but for now, it's what are Troggoths? Troggoths are basically trolls. That's it. They kind of exist around Grots, sort of unintentionally. They just favor the same sort of living standard.
Oh, I get it. Kind of like how Australia would be the Gitz, and then, you know, New Zealand would be the Troggoths. Same sort of fact that we're... Hang on, wait.
Sure.
No, I just had a dumb girl moment where I was like, if Australia is a continent, what does that make New Zealand? And I'm like, it makes it a country. It's a country. It's not big enough.
Did you know that there's no universal agreed how many fucking continents there are? The answer is somewhere between 3 and I believe 9.
Anyway, Troggoths.
So they are incredibly long-lived, and unless killed with... Man, I'm great at writing. They are incredibly long-lived, and unless killed with, regenerate. Unless, killed in the brain very quickly, they regenerate any injury. As they age, they begin to slow and eventually become emotionless. Eventually becoming motionless.
They don't stop running.
And entering a hibernation for potentially hundreds of years, absorbing nutrients passively from their surroundings and often growing in size. However...
Oh my god, they turn into rock trolls.
Different ones. They can also get smaller. That happens as well. However, they can be woken up by Grots or the Bad Moon. They also just might eat the Grots that wake them up. They are lacking any real ability for higher thought and mostly function entirely on instinct rather than an actual plan. And in battle, they will just attack anything, including their Grot allies.
Same.
It is also theorized by some shamans that Troggoths can actually predict where the bad moon will appear, and those Troggoths that migrate are migrating to future sites of the bad moon's appearance. Others think they are in fact the ones that summon the bad moon.
Good for
Yeah,
them.
they regenerate injury and are incredibly strong, making them generally not a pleasant time to fight. Yeah? Fuck. Who gives a shit? Who cares? What am I doing? It doesn't matter. Don't fight him. Who fucking cares?
Who the fuck cares? One of us flubs, the other one draws Troggoths and dresses. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we're about to hit page 5 of 16, and we're an hour in the recording. Who cares? So, of the Troggoth species, you got dank-hole Troggoths. They are attracted naturally to the deepest, darkest, and, quote, filthiest and stinkiest recesses of the 8 realms. Also,
Oh, yeah, they certainly look
yeah,
it.
according to Word, stinkiest isn't a word. Okay, you're wrong. Thanks, Word. It is. It is a word, but, whatever. And they will just go to sleep. For ages during these hibernations, they will grow and shrink to fit the cavern. And they
Same.
only really leave when the bad moon shows up. But it's worth noting that these caverns, in the deepest pits of the world, tend to be where the laws of nature get a little wonky and are filled with magic and realm stone, which affects the mushrooms that grow in the area. The mushrooms that the Troggoths eat, giving them
Okay.
resistance.
Side note. You say...
Yes?
Did you say warpstone?
No, realm stone.
No, Realmstone. That's what I meant. Realmstone. So, is Realmstone the thing that the Skaven like to hop between realms to steal?
Yes. Warpstone is
Okay.
also a form of realm stone. But it's
Like a corrupt version. I guess.
yeah, so each realm stone is the magic of the realm personified into a material. And warpstone, like each realm has its unique warpstone, but realm stone, but warpstone doesn't really appear anywhere except in the void where the Skaven live. So the Skaven live on top of all the warpstone. All the warpstone is in the Skaven lands, I believe.
So I just imagine some poor Skaven is like, ooh, yes, Realmstonies. And just reaches over for it, trips on a mushroom, looks up slowly, and just sees a golden eye slowly open as it goes, oh.
There's definitely some stuff with the Skaven.
Please
Oh
tell me they're,
yeah,
like, secretly best
but
friends
later
because
on. But
they're
yeah,
both freaks.
they don't often come into conflict in the lore that is established, but they definitely often come into conflict. Well, Skaven like to be under civilizations, and they don't really be that. They do come into conflict. The point is they come into conflict because they kind of occupy the same place. But anyway,
Just a rat having a ratatouille moment with the
yeah.
Troggoth's fucking
That
mushroom.
was the Troggoths. These are the mushrooms that the Troggoths eat, giving them a resistance to magic from their diet of magic-infused mushrooms. Some of them are in hibernation for so long, mineral formations start to grow on them, adding an armor to their bodies. You also have dank-old trog bosses. These spend so long in the dark that their skin hardened even more. These are the guys with the mineral armor, and their healing factors are just higher than your standard Troggoths.
Ooh. That stone's running towards us! Don't be stupid. Oh, fuck.
Pretty much. So next, you got rock guts. These guys eat dirt. They eat so much dirt, they create cave systems that attract grots that want to live in the cave system. They eat so much dirt that they become earthbenders and have magical control over dirt.
Why haven't we tried that yet?
I don't know. Eat dirt, I guess. Their skin is also naturally more rocky and strong because, all the dirt they eat. They do, however, also like adding meat to the dirt. So they will eat you alongside all the dirt.
Recycling.
Yeah. Fellwater Troggoths live in stagnant water, be it in marshes or swamps, like me. No, not marshes or swamps. Marshes or sewers, not like me. I live in swamps.
Jesus Christ, they're like fucked up anglerfish.
You look at the Fellwater, yeah. Their skin is covered in all the proverbial and literal shit they hang out in, which they will pick off and eat when they are hungry, alongside all the other animals that come nearby. Here's a quote: "Their stench rivals that of any follower of Nurgle."
That's a horrible thing. Horrible.
Yeah. Fellwater are particularly hard to fight due to their overwhelming stench, leaves people often just retching in disgust. Failing that, Troggoths have incredibly strong stomach acid due to all the rocks and literal garbage they eat. Fellwater can vomit this acid onto enemies that will burn through their armor and or skin.
Yeah, that tracks, because I think I see a fishbone in that one.
You got Maya Brute Troggoths, very similar to Fellwater in principle, look different and fight for orcs instead of Gloomspite. You got Sulphur Breath Troggoth, little information on them. They live in caves with lizards, that's about it. You got Sour Breath Troggoths, they live under bridges with Anthony Kiedis and ruins and kill a lot of people. And in ruins and kill a lot of people.
Just like us, allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Dishonorable mention to Baal Troggoths. These guys ate a bunch of Nurgle corpses and are now Nurgle corrupted and work for Nurgle. Worst of all, they are only available from Forge World.
Oh, that's cringe. Is that cringe?
Yes.
That's
Means
cringe.
they're resin models, and resin models suck. They're very bendy.
Oh, right, yeah, resin as in, like, gotcha.
I have heard many a story of, like, if you're building a resin model, especially if it's a large model, you need to get a hairdryer because you're going to have to sort of melt the resin a little bit to get it to fit in place proper so that you can glue it together.
Yeah.
Because it is not...
Plus one hot day, and guess what? You've got fucking massive warping.
Yeah. Shame we live in a hot country. So,
otherwise, we'd totally get them.
So, back to the Age of Chaos timeline, which will lead us to our next tangent. So, in the underworld of Neferatia, the Spiderfang Coalition, known as the Grimscuttle, are being hunted into extinction by Neferata.
Nice.
So, they have a cunning plan. Do a ritual to get the spider god's attention to help them out.
They
Quote,
want to use a spider god to repel spiders.
The spider god. No, vampires. Vampires and ghosts. So they are the Spiderfang Coalition. Spiderfang is a culture. We'll get to them in a moment. But the culture, Spiderfang, there's a coalition of them called the Grimscuttle, and they're being hunted by Neferata, which I believe is a
reference to
Tomb King vampire. I believe she's the Tomb King vampire. But because she's a vampire and not a Tomb King, she got put into Age of Sigmar, working for Nagash in the underworlds.
And now she attacks...
Yeah, and now she's fighting spider goblins. Yes, Neferata is a vampire who is a Tomb King.
Tomb Queen.
I believe we talk about her because she's the first vampire. I believe we talk about her briefly in the Bretonia episode because he gets into a fight with a vampire. Gilles gets into a fight with a vampire who is one of the first vampires, and it's because he served Neferata and she keeps trying to turn him, and she eventually manages to trick him into drinking blood. Anyway, so the Grimscuttle, have a cunning plan. Do a ritual to get the spider god's attention to help them out. And quote, unfortunately, it works. So...
Oh, that's always what you want to fucking hear. We did it! At what cost?
So, as the great Skitter Scream ritual is capping off, the spider sacrifice hundreds of captives by throwing them into flesh-melting web, and a lot more had a fuck ton of spider hatchlings erupt their body. Then, a portal to the ether opened. The Grots celebrated...
I really genuinely hate to say this, but are you saying that they basically were just like... You know the scene from The Mist? Have you seen The Mist? I don't know if you have.
Yes, I have seen The Mist.
The Mist. Basically the spider scene...
Hold on. I referenced The Mist later in this script.
I'm sorry, why are we sharing the same brain cell today? I thought we agreed it was my turn.
Anyway.
I need it more than you.
The Mist? Yes. The weird melty spiders in The Mist?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Oh, no wonder they fucked up. No wonder it was... Unfortunately, it succeeded.
Yeah. So, the Grots celebrated at the opening of this portal to the ether because they thought the spider god was coming. It was not. It was a bunch of Arachnaroks. More on them in a bit.
Arachnaroks. I'm sorry, like Octoroks from Legend of Zelda?
This was the first time anyone has ever summoned an Arachnarok. The Arachnaroks proceeded to kill and eat everything in sight, And just as things were about to end in complete disaster and the Grots got wiped out, lo and behold, can you guess, Corgi? Can you guess?
Sorry, I was looking at images of Octoroks and I was like, wow, those guys look so pathetic and shrimpy in the older games. Sorry, go again.
And just as things were about to end in complete disaster and the Grots got wiped out, lo and behold, can you guess, Corgi?
Oh, Skaven.
No.
Damn, I was really hoping to get a vampire spider Skaven Grots
Nope.
fight.
Nope.
That'd been great. The Bad Moon?
Exactly, the Bad Moon. You got it on the second one. Bad Moon showed up, and all the Grot shamans became overwhelmed with visions and collapsed in worship and screamed their devotion to the Arachnaroks. The Arachnaroks stopped their slaughter in utter confusion and went, sure, let's hear you out. And soon, the Grimscuttle set out, raiding Neferatia through tunnels, through reality, spun by the Arachnaroks. Neferata is not happy, but she can't do shit because she's busy fighting chaos as she watches Grots steal all her gubbins and sacrifices. Which brings us to our next subculture, Corgi. The Spiderfang! Instead of hanging out in dark, creepy caves like normal people, the Spiderfang Grots hang out in dark, creepy forests with their spider friends. And instead of wearing black robes, they wear the bones and skin of animals killed by their spider friends. The Spiderfang believe in and worship the Spider God, a big god beast that allegedly bit Gorkamorka on the foot and therefore became an aspect of him and a god in its own right.
Works for me.
As mentioned, they believe that the Bad Moon is a giant spider egg. The way 3rd edition Battle Tome talks about the Spider God, it gives the impression that it might not exist at all. The way the 4th edition talks about the Spider God, it gives the impression it very definitely exists and is beyond a shadow of a doubt real.
Honestly, that's just most things. Even in the Warhammer universe, if you're like, yeah, this thing's straight up not real, at some point it might end up real. Because what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm adding this a bit later. I didn't write it anywhere else, and this is already long, so I'm not going to dwell on it. But the leaders of the Spiderfang are mutant spider grots called scuttlebosses.
I was so hoping you'd say scuttlebutts.
This brings us to our fan favorite segment, Corgi.
No.
Who's...
They are underground. They don't need them.
Yeah, whose boat is that boat? Now, Corgi, this actually doesn't apply to you. But, hey, if you don't like spiders, maybe don't look at the boat. Corgi, you gotta look at the boat. Look at the boat, Corgi.
Fine, but only because I'm already drawing cute spiders. Orb Weaver? No.
Now, while Corgi thinks of an answer, it's story time now. I actually have 2 pictures for the segment. Is the other one.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
both are burned into my brain since I saw them like 10 years ago.
It is! I wasn't 100% sure, but it is a Goliath birdie.
No, it's not.
I thought it was.
Nope.
Looks like Goliath birdie.
These are from Queensland. That's where I live. Now, these are golden orb spiders. There are many different species around the world, but they're pretty common in urban Australia. Fun fact, they have some of the strongest silk in the world, rivaling the strength of steel. They are general attempts to farm silk from them, but while they are chill in nature, in a farm setting, they do cannibalize each other, which is why they created spider goat hybrids. That didn't turn out to be that effective. Point is, these bastards appear in New Zealand. They are not native to New Zealand. Their webs get caught in the wind and blow the baby spiders from Australia to New Zealand. 1,500 kilometers away. Here's a fun story most Australians can attest to. Again, strength of steel. Every now and then, you just run into a spider web. It happens. Probably happens in a lot of places. And you smash through it before you realize golden orb spider webs aren't like that. You hit that motherfucker and it won't break by the time you realize you hit it. And for a brief moment, you realize you were in that web. And somewhere, there is a giant fuck-off spider just hanging out. Maybe on you now, so you have to step back, but the web is still stuck to your head, and you have to quickly brush away, hoping you don't have a hand-sized golden orb on your head now. And any strand that breaks off is now stuck, and it's fucking annoying experience to try and get it off, because that bitch is sticky as fuck. So, Corgi, have you guessed whose boat that is?
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm moving into an area where I'm going to have to start dealing with that again.
Yeah.
And now I wanted to gag the entire time you said that. We've lost pretty much all of our audience because of that.
Yeah. I live there. Anyway.
It's wrong, but all I can think of is just tiny little gits just coming out of the badonk.
Okay, weird. Is that your answer? Tiny little gits coming out of the badonk?
No,
okay.
It's the Oh god, I want to call them Arachnaroks. Are they
That is what they
Arachnaroks?
are called, yeah.
Okay, yeah, basically, Arachnaroks, I'm gonna guess, fucking piggyback on these things.
No, they are the Arachnaroks.
Those are the Arachnaroks? Jesus Christ! I forgot that
Arachnaroks
they
are
were
the spiders.
I forgot that they were the spiders because I was thinking Arachnaroth.
Okay.
And not Arachnarok and thinking, oh yeah, Arachna Troggoth. Like,
Yeah, great. I can give you region of origin if you want. As a clue.
what do you
Region
mean
of origin.
region of origin?
A region of origin.
Like, realm?
Yeah, sure.
Are they just hell spiders? Just
Ooh.
what? You were not about to tell me they're warp spiders.
Ooh. You're wrong, but I might have to give you a point. That's not what I was
point
looking
on
for, but
accident?
I might have to give you a point because you are right, but you're not. It's not the answer I was looking for. But I there were multiple answers I would have accepted. The correct answer is Spiderfang or Scuttles. The region of origin, by the way, is God's Nightmares. If you just told me God's Nightmares, you would have also gotten a point. But you did say they were from hell, which they are from. So I will give you this point.
A reluctant point, a loophole point.
Not a reluctant point. A more, you stumbled on something. Yeah. You get a point for this. We'll give you a point for this.
I love slipping on a banana peel and ending up the president of the United States.
So, the Spiderfang, hold up. Here's a picture of an Arachnarok, by the way. Like an actual picture of an Arachnarok.
Somehow they made it worse. Yeah.
So the Spiderfang don't just hang out with spiders. They ride spiders. Riding. The sailing of the land. That is why the answer was that.
Oh, they do ride on the badon.
Yeah, I also wrote that joke a year ago. Now, back to them in a second. The first Arachnaroks, a word so annoying to type, I just permanently had it on Control V the entire time I was writing the script. So we're going to make a distinction between the Arachnaroks and the Skitterstrand Arachnaroks. The Skitterstrand are the ones mentioned before. More on them in a bit. The Arachnaroks are the descendants of the children of the spider god, allegedly. They grow in size to the size of a stardrake. Here's a stardrake and a human being riding a stardrake. That's a regular,
I want
like
one.
6 foot tall human being riding a stardrake. And again, that spider is the same size.
Ew.
Yep.
Nothing.
So, thing is, the Arachnaroks are wild animals. However, they are smart and evil, and half the time, they just kill for the fun of the game. Just enjoy inflicting pain and suffering. They don't even need to eat the kill. They're just in it for the game.
Tracks, honestly.
Yeah. The Spiderfang specifically build their hideouts where the Arachnaroks live. The only reason the Arachnaroks let the Grots live with them is they find the notion of being worshipped funny. Again, they're smart. They're smart enough to have a sense of humor and see the Grots and go, this shit is fucking hilarious, yo.
Not just
Come
a
here.
sense of humor, but a sense of sadism out of that humor.
Yeah.
Which is arguably worse than having a sense of
Yeah.
humor. Because it means they know that they're fucked up and they revel in it.
Yeah. So for the Grots to ride on them, it is a negotiation and requires sacrifices. And I would imagine if you fuck it up, you get
eaten.
F. Doesn't specifically say that, but it happens to the other ones.
Did you know that some tarantulas actually
Drogs.
form a sort of symbiotic relationship with
Yeah.
frogs? Kind of like that.
They have the little things. Also, wolves. Corvids keep wolves as pets.
They got big
Yeah.
dogs.
Speaking of wolves, I will remember their name at some point. Gitmobs. The Gitmobs, they also have to make deals with their mounts, and if they fumble the deal, they get eaten by their mount. So I would imagine, even though it doesn't specify it, Arachnaroks, you fumble the deal with the Arachnarok, you get eaten. That's the point. I don't know.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know if this happened pre-Great Skitterscream with the Grimscuttle summoning the Skitterstrands. I wrote it was the first time someone summoned them, which I definitely read, but I went back to check and I couldn't find where I read it. which happens way too much. But I could not be asked writing citations, but I have considered it. I did it in the Gene Stealer Cults Part 1, and will for the Gaz episode, because I have to refer to the actual book, and it's easier to know exactly where, rather than the 30 pages battle tome, versus the, 200-page book that is admittedly an audiobook, so the exact chapter and time.
Not to mention an audiobook that you listen to on 2x speed because you're a fucking freak.
No. I will have to listen to the Gaz on 2x speed. But I did, when I started listening to audiobooks, I started on 2x speed, but it's too fast. Because when I'm watching the news and like listening to podcasts and shit, I can put it on 2x speed because I can absorb the information. But when I'm like trying to like experience the story, like I can't watch a movie on 2x speed. It has to be on normal speed. But like a book, they speak so slowly on audiobooks. So if you put it at a 1.2 times speed, it is a normal human cadence. It is how fast a normal human being speaks, or at the very least, how fast I speak. So that I listen to it at 1.2 times speed. I did try 2 times speed, way too fast. I have read the Gaz book. I will have to go back and re-listen to the Gaz book for the Gaz episode, which I want to do sooner rather than later, very soon. I will have to listen to that on 2 times speed because I'm not listening to that fucking 12-hour book again slowly. I don't need to absorb the story. I've already absorbed the story. I just need to get the information. Anyway, I was thinking about this conversation earlier before we had it. Again, I'm psychic. I can predict the future. It's come up. We're actually making really good progress. We're 7 pages in, and it's only been like 30 minutes since we were on page 3. Anyway, it seems the Grots and the Arachnaroks don't even know when this whole deal happened or entirely how. They ate the Grots, and the Grots went, "What if you didn't?" And we got you other food. They still do eat Grots though, just in measured moderation. Yeah, you lose a Grot every week. Oh well, these things happen. Could have been anything. Maybe it was the spider. Maybe he was an idiot who got shanked. Anyway, humorously though, the Arachnaroks being not controlled by the Grots means that the Grots have had to adapt to the spiders just refusing to go to battle or just abandoning the battle mid-fight because they're done. You know, when you're in battle and you're winning and your tags just turn around and go home because they killed enough people and are bored now.
So they're just cats. They are just giant cats that are like, okay, fine, I'll do it if I get killed. And then as soon as they're like full, they're like, you know what, I want to go back to my nest and I want to have a big nap and then I'm going to eat your friend and we can do some more. And they're like, please help, we're dying here. And it's like, sounds like a you.
Like, imagine you're fighting an entire army of chaos and they have 2 greater demons and you've got your like 5 Arachnaroks and you're like, we are going to crush this fight. This is going to be fucking amazing. We got this. They don't stand a chance. And then all 5 of the Arachnaroks jump on 1 greater demon and just rip it apart limb from limb. And you're like, oh, this is going to be easy. And then they turn to you and go, yeah, we're done. Bye. And they just leave. And it's now just you, a bunch of Grots, and a greater demon. And you're just like, cool. Cool. This is great. Hi, Scarbrand. And then you die.
And then instead of, you turning to mist and returning to the warp, you just die.
Yeah.
Straight up, no embarrassing stories. You're gone.
Yeah. So they've had to adapt to the spiders just leaving. So they are able to swap tactics mid-fight a lot better than any other Grot. Grots, if things go wrong, like lines break and everything goes wrong. If the plan doesn't go to plan, everything's bad. Whereas this is Spiderfang. This is what happens when you have to fucking remember a wealth of knowledge on 2 hours of sleep. You forget names for everything.
Call this part 1 for now, and then tomorrow
we're finishing this. Also, I'm working tomorrow. So I'm working tomorrow and I don't have time. Spiderfang have had to adapt very well to, the plan's gone tits up because these fuckers left. So we just have a backup plan. We're on plan B now. Failing that, plan C.
Plan bitch.
Yeah. It's the Cyclops quote of, plan B implies I only have 26 plans.
I thought it was Batman.
No, that's the Cyclops line.
My bad.
Fucking love Cyclops. They also have to deal with the fact that while Grots are sneaky by nature, the 5-ish meter tall spiders, however, don't really care and tend to just forego stealth. Helps that their venom can melt steel. Have fun getting bitten. They can also sneak if they feel like it.
You know, good for them. They're allowed to do what they want.
Also, their legs are razor sharp, and you can see in the image all the fangs. These things are walking nightmares that will also absolutely do stealth if they feel like it. Mostly because they love setting traps and watching people get stuck in massive webs and the panic and fear as they approach their food. Again, they are an intelligent evil. You can't even be like, oh, but these are wild animals. They know not what they do. They do know.
They know.
And they're Erebus.
Yeah.
Now, you have 2 Arachnaroks. You got the little young ones. They have Grots ride them with their little piddly arrows and sticks, which the Grots do not have the greatest time riding, because these bastards just want to kill and do not consider the Grots above them. So, if they don't fall off, as they barrel through the front line and or walls, hey, now you have a Grot shooting spider venom arrows at you. And then you got the old ones. They're bigger and more chill. That's the one that I sent you, Corgi. The picture of the old ones. I think that's the picture of the older ones. Actually, let me check.
Of the yellow ones? Because I'm pretty sure that's black.
No, that's the older ones. That's a younger one. Sorry. I did not send you a picture of an older one. So that's what the young ones look like. That's the size of the young ones.
You know, they're not that big. They're just big.
So the older ones, they let the Grots put artillery on them. Catapults that shoot spiderwebs that unfurl in the sky. Not only that, their natural armor is so strong it can break steel if you hit it wrong. Fucking neat.
They're basically a fuck.
Yeah.
They were fine. Everything was balanced, and then they brought out the spiders, and then suddenly it's like, oh great, they've got fucking napalm when we're still using sticks and stones.
Yeah. So now, I mentioned a different type of I've mentioned a different type of Arachnarok, Corgi, which is this is where you got your point on whose boat is that boat. The Skitterstrand Arachnaroks come from hell. Literally. They live in the afterlife of spiders, just an entire underworld with nothing but spiders, and probably some ghost Skaven, as we know the ghosts of Skaven have managed to escape their own underworld. Skitterstrand Arachnaroks, they hunt through webbed tunnels in reality. Just think for a moment. You're walking down the street, minding your own damn business. Then a hole in reality opens up and a 2-story spider comes out, grabs you, and pulls you into its tunnel all the way down to spider hell. They can also eat souls. They're literally funnel web spiders, but instead of their traps being the backyard of suburban Sydney, it's the fabric of reality. Corgi, draw a comic of that. I'll add it to the list. Just a guy walking down the street, sees a crack in reality, a giant spider comes out, nope, and then shoots himself. Also, the spider god allegedly lives in spider hell, and as we know, Nagash killed most of the other gods of death in Shaish. I like the idea he went to the Evercrawl, aka spider hell. Also, spider hell is called the Evercrawl.
Of course.
Saw all the spiders and went, you know what? Some death gods can live. I'm good. Just Nagash and his army looking at a hyper-detailed spider hell and deciding not to invade. They do, however, specifically, hate Nagash and make a point to hunt his wizards. They also sense mortality and fear, so they have a habit of just showing up in a battlefield to eat people and then disappear back to hell. Also, again, Corgi, extra comic for you to draw. Nagash walking to spider hell, seeing hyper-detailed pictures of spiders, and going, nah, we out.
Well,
Let's go. See ya.
I should learn how to draw spiders anyway, so
Yeah.
I guess it'll be good.
I can always just recruit a different artist.
Excuse me?
Well,
You
I know
did
people who
not
have
just
different.
Say that to me.
Well, you see, I know people who have different art styles. So you can do your comic-y one, and then I can just get someone else to draw a hyper-detailed spider. So then we just merge the two. So it's just like, nah. Back to the Spiderfang. They also ride regular spiders. You know, the regular pony-sized spiders that a grot could ride.
Sorry, I thought you meant regular spiders, and I just imagine a grot sat in place, just being like, come on, come on. And the daddy long legs beneath him is just...
These aren't intelligent and are simply raised from infancy, but will, much like a pig, 100% eat their rider if they don't get fed enough. Pigs are intelligent, by the way. Like, very. But they will fucking eat you if you fall down in their enclosure. But not to worry, the Grots don't just ride the spiders. The spiders ride the Grots. Shut up, Corgi. Said what I said. I just want to say, shut up, Corgi. I said what I said is in the script.
And
I know you. I know the things you say.
Yeah, so go on. They get ridden by this.
I went to rub my eye and forgot I was wearing glasses. I just jammed my finger into my glasses.
Better than jamming it into your eye, man. Knuckle first. Why am I blind?
All the Grot cavalry are covered in tiny spiders that crawl all over them and attack anything the Grots also attack.
Aww, they're like little hunters.
Like imagine you're like fighting a guy like in a sword fight and then like 200 spiders just jump off the guy and start crawling on you.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I would be like, you win, you win, you win.
Yeah. And lastly, the Spiderfang, much like most other Grots, are run by their shamans, who are considered by some to be more spider than Grot. The occasional extra arms or eyes don't really help dissuade that belief, which is kind of how they just
That's very similar to the
take
Dream
charge.
Stealers.
Yeah, it's kind of how they take charge. Grots see a guy with 6 arms and go, well, he's touched by God. Being shamans, they can also summon magic spiders. Neat. They are, however, not the most mentally stable. Quote, web spinner shamans have a famous tenuous connection to reality, Sam, for they slather themselves in a range of potent toxins daily and are constantly being bitten by the hundreds of spiders that nestle in their armpits and between their toes. So
Can you do
they
me
are
a
always
favor and never tell me that again?
probably because I doubt we'll do this episode again, but you know, they are always to some degree fucking tripping, which the pain of all the venoms and the hallucinations brings them closer to the spider god and make them less hallucinations and more prophetic visions of the future. Been there, buddy.
Oh.
The funny side of this is they are obviously divinely blessed, so the Grots follow their every word with religious fervor. The word of these guys who don't quite know who they are or what they're doing, but definitely something spiders in your ears, and we go to the spiders and the spiders give us webs and we blow out the sun with the spiders and the spiders and the webs and the spiders are our souls and the baby spiders eat the sins of the past, you know, something like that.
Sorry, I'm just gonna message your wife and ask her to mace you for me, because I never want to hear anything about insects in my...
You know, and the Grots will listen and happily drink the poison or let spiders lay eggs in their bodies because the shaman said so. Where most other clans, the crazy shaman says something and it's a bit more touch and go how they're listened to at all. Whereas this time, like, a guy will come up to you and be like, spiders in your bodies, and he'll go, fine. Anyway,
pocket spiders.
Back to the age of chaos. The Grots, we're about halfway now.
Halfway.
2 hours in.
Halfway to madness.
But we were there where we started. Again, 2 hours of sleep. Back to the age of chaos.
Excuse.
The Grots, at some point, managed to invade and take over a Caradron skyport. They rename it to the Moon City and sort of kind of barely learn how to fly it. They also strap a bunch of experimental weapons on squigs and sell them.
Still wish I knew what squigs were.
Little meatball things.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They're like, for all you need to know is that is what squigs are. They're also hair.
They're hairballs. Meat hairballs.
No, they're hair. If you see an orc with hair, it's a squig.
Gotcha. Toupee.
Yeah. That is why, well, a toupee is like a dead bit of hair. The squig is still alive. Again, this is why the squigs need a kind of episode, because they're kind of like, what's a squig? It just kind of fills whatever purpose that they need.
What's a squig? Landolier. That's it. Langolier, sorry.
Do they need something? It's a squig.
Help, someone killed my mom. Squig.
How big is a squig? Depends.
Better.
Depends what they need.
I need someone to do my taxes. This is good for that.
Basically, yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep. So now this brings us to the end of the Age of Chaos.
Damn it.
As I said, they didn't really do much. No one really did, but the Grots especially spent most of it in hiding. They kind of did like two things. Got eaten by a bunch of spiders. Three things. Got dumpstered, eaten by a bunch of spiders, stole a dwarf sky city. At the dawn of the Age of Sigmar, the Gloomspite took advantage of chaos being so distracted and started taking all their land they lost back and taking out chaos dreadforts before fucking off back to their hidey holes, and even more Grots came out to join a great war by an orc megaboss called Gordrak. He's not important here, but he will come up again later, but it helped get the Grots more land.
Mm-hmm.
Then a Moonclan shaman by the name of Snazgar Stinkmullet.
No, really?
Yeah. They got names.
Yeah, just Snazgar.
Yep, Snazgar Stinkmullet. He invades Shaish, and for the first time in a long time, the Bad Moon appears. Then, not too much longer, Scrygrot took Scrapper Spill in a single night. Scrapper Spill is basically a pile of gubbins on a continent of Ayada on the realm of Charmon, the thing that the guy tried to install in my walls.
It was I thought
built.
that was Charmin, like the Charmin bears.
No, it was built up by Noblars, like a worse version of Grots in every way. That they just scavenged the gubbins and then just threw it up. Then it got taken by a bunch of orcs because it was shiny, and they added actual treasures and shit that they stole from battles they won until it pierced the clouds, and then Scrygrot decided he wanted it. So he sent out his Grots to join the orcs living there, and the Grots convinced all the other orcs were trying to kill each other, so all the orcs just killed each other, and then they took Scrapper Spill with relative ease. Then they dug out and took rough control of Ida, but the Bad Moon was so impressed with taking the spill in a single night, it rained down so much loonstone, it turned the continent into a permanent twilight.
In other words, just do what your god likes, and sometimes you get rewarded with extra super wealth riches.
Yeah, pretty much. This brings us to our third culture, the Moon Clans. The Moon Clans are your most fleshed out, yet also kind of simple Grot culture. We're going to spend a while on the Moon Clans. They hate the light of the sun, and generally hate going outside of their dark caves and hidey holes, much like me.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Though they will venture out into the night and find things to steal and, I quote, stab up some humies real good. Again, much like me.
Not like me. I'm beginning to think that place where you mentioned there was a murder. I don't want to point fingers, but pretty sure you killed someone in the alleyway.
Was it murder? What?
It's not the alleyway. It was that place you pointed out when we were going under a bridge. You're like, oh yeah, someone got murdered there anyway.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That's a sad story.
Yeah, well, you know what else is a fucking sad story? You killing people. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Anyway, I'm pretty sure I'm talking about the one. But yeah, anyway. They also have mushroom farms where they grow mushrooms for food and other things that can do fun stuff like instant fungal infection, hallucinations, and instant death, which also occasionally leads to accidental suicide in battle. Like maybe you want to drink the super soldier serum potion that you have, but you accidentally drink the instant death potion that you really shouldn't have. They also make heavy usage of squigs, which again, we'll talk about that another day, because squigs are so much, but imagine Corgi, a kangaroo, but it's short, fat, more a ball in shape, with no real discernible marks between head and body, razor-sharp teeth, and orcs and grots use them for mounts and sometimes hair.
Oh, so mean.
Yeah, sure. The preference for underground cave systems does bring them into frequent contact with Fire Slayer dwarves and our favorite, Skaven.
Yay!
Though, also recently, Forces of Sigmar too, because they hang out on the underground ley lines now.
Very quick side note. If a spider could write, what do you think it would write? Like, do you think it would be more cursive? This is actually important.
Yes, because they make webs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Alright, thanks.
Moonclans are led by loon bosses. Goofy little guys that wear little moon helmets and plate armor. This is 90%.
Those guys. I was wondering why they were wearing the fucking weird moon helmet.
Yeah, because they're moon guys. Moon clans. This is 90% because it looks scary to a grot, which means they are much less likely to get stabbed in the back by their own boys. They also want to stand out so the bad moon notices them. Did I mention it gives favor? I might have meant to talk about it. They feel the clammy hands of the bad moon, and it does something. It was kind of vague. Vague just gives them favor. But it used the word clammy hands of the bad moon. So if you're in the middle of a fight and you just feel clammy hands on you, bad moon.
Ew.
There is no predetermined hierarchy for the Grots. It's literally just who distinguishes themselves the best in battle and or gets the favor of the bad moon. They also tend to be quite competent in battle as well, being as they have to be. Otherwise, they get stabbed to death by the boys.
The boys.
Yeah. Now, Skygrot is a bit more than just a loon boss. As a young lad, Skygrot had a dream that the bad moon spoke to him, and then he woke up with a headache. Same.
And then he woke up with a headache, reciting fucking Creedence Clearwater or whatever.
And mushrooms growing from his head. Fun fact, the first musician I ever saw live was John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival fame. Anyway,
You wake up, splitting headache, right? Dreaming about weird shit, and then you touch your head, you're like, wow, my fucking head is sweaty. Why is there a mushroom? You just start squeezing the top, and next thing you know...
Why do I hear swamp music?
It's just a really wet banjo.
That's a comic. Why do I hear swamp music? And it's just Skragrot fatally hearing Bad Moon Rising in the background.
And there's a spider with one of those hillbilly hats, just with a banjo.
Well, these are Moonclan, so the spiders aren't there.
Just a tiny moon guy with a limp.
He woke up with mushrooms growing out of his head.
As you do.
Probably explains the headache. And beside him was a staff with a moon-shaped mushroom growing out of it. The presence of the, and I quote, bad loon boss fungus proved to everyone that he was chosen by the bad moon. This is Skragrot. As you can see, his mushroom head and
good for him.
His bad loon boss fungus.
And he's good.
Now, the bad loon boss fungus is the name of the type of mushroom on the stick, not his mushroom crown. It's
the bad loon on the rise.
It's not the name of the staff. The name of the staff is the moon on a stick. That's on a one word, ONNA, and stick with 2 Ks. As we discussed,
I don't take those sorts of notes, man.
You know what it is, right? The moon on a stick. And as we discussed, Skragrot took Ayada in Chamon and became known as the Loon King. He is also a powerful wizard. That's fun. Can just summon moon rocks. He leads the King's Gitz, which isn't made up of just moon clans, and they are assholes. The King's Gitz aren't really that cowardly. They are very confident, which also leads to the stabbing each other in the back a lot. He also has a place, Corgi. This is what we were talking about. This is what we were talking about, called the Fungal Asylum. Deep beneath Scrapper's Spill, there is a realm gate guarded by a herd of armored Troggoths that goes somewhere. And in that somewhere is the asylum. Sometimes the walls eat you, and if you work there, you might just disappear from time to time. But that's not the point of it. Skragrot goes out of his way to capture anyone with the ability to see the future, and has done since the Age of Chaos. They are then taken to the Loon King, who taps them on 3 times on the head with his stick and utters a wordless curse, which that means whether
he
that
basically
means
just went,
he thinks it in silence or just goes, nah! I do not know. Then,
no, he
quote,
does what you did for the fucking warm-up test.
Oh, the warm-up test, that was the intro. Oh no, the warm-up test.
Yeah, he just does that.
That was the warm-up test. That was just checking to make sure the microphone was taking audio.
He reaches out with a gnarled hand, fucking bones peeking out through his skin, just touches the forehead. Well, now one of us is my child.
So, quote, the victim's flesh becomes spongy and stretchy, their faces enlarge, and their limbs wither. They turn into a scry shroom.
God
It's also
damn it. No, it's
says
stuck
what
in my head again. Your bones will
What?
harden, your skin will slough. It's this old thing from it's this song that was made as sort of like an ARG thing, Kiss Me, Kill Me, but it was actually really catchy and I fucking love it to death. Now it's stuck in my head and I'm gonna just have it in the back of my head for the rest of the day, so I just want to say fuck you for that.
Cool. Yeah. They turn into a scry shroom. It also says the once mortal seer, so I think they become immortal now. And they promptly go mad and in pain all the time. Same. I almost fell over the other day. But I saved it, and I didn't smash my head into a pole, and all it cost me was pulling every muscle on the right side, hand side of my body.
I mean, I know what you mean. I fucking nearly fell over when my knee just decided to bend the weird way. So I was like, well, I'm gonna
sneezed
die.
the other day, and it hurt so bad. Anyway, the bad moon can fondle the brain of the mushroom men, and through their mad ramblings, sometimes they can figure out where the bad moon will appear next. And the asylum is where they keep all these guys.
It's basically
and
like
also the walls sometimes eat people. As I said, the walls eat people sometimes, Corgi.
Okay, but are the walls eating people related to the spiders at all?
No, the walls just absorb people.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking, the spiders were like, well, this is easy prey. They're scared in an asylum.
No, the spiders don't live in the asylum. It's
No,
just mushrooms, and the mushrooms make up the walls, and sometimes the walls eat people.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm only double checking because just the thought of someone just walking past a hallway, seeing a hole, and the guy, God damn it, the spiders are back.
Yep. So Scrygrot knows where the bad moon will show up. And everyone thinks it's because of the bad moon's gift and his role as a prophet that he knows where it will appear. Completely unaware it's because of the nightmare asylums he's made.
It's because of all the people he's got captive and just sometimes they get it right. Like, are you thinking of Heart of Spades? How did you know? Heart of Spades isn't even a card.
That's been kept in. I was like, I'm going to delete this. And then you said Heart of Spades. And I went, never mind. Live with your shame.
Live with your shame that you don't have.
I'm going to quickly run through some Moonclan units. We have rabble rousers.
Okay, I need to see that. I need to see that immediately.
Okay, they just kind of hold sticks and they have a skeleton over their head, skeleton over their head. They're not that interesting.
Why are they not interesting? You cannot at all decide, I'm going to name this thing Rabble Rouser and then make it a boring little peon.
Well, because they're in charge of waking up the Troggoths. That's it.
Just run around, poke, someone else's problem.
Yeah, pretty much. They bring them to war. They do a pretty good job because their lungs are magically enhanced, so their screams and the banging of the weapons wake them up pretty well. And they will be followed out. They're also followed by bat squigs. Again, squigs are everything. Squigs are a lot. The bat squigs love the noise and are fed explosive mushrooms. And when the rabble rouser stops making noise, the bats attack whatever caused it to stop, and then they explode.
As bats are one to do.
Yeah. Then we got the sneaky snufflers. They spend the whole fight using their snuffle squigs, again, squigs are a lot, to search for loon caps that grow when the bad moon appears. They will kill if they have to, but they generally avoid it because it's not their purpose. They will, however, get killed by their snuffle squig if they treat them poorly. When it goes, oh look, a loon cap. Whoops, it was actually a deadly mushroom. Once they harvest the loon cap, they lob the shite ones to nearby Gitz for the aggro buff and damage resistance, and then they take the good ones for trading with shamans later.
Smart, honestly.
Fanatics. Fanatics are poisoned into a hallucinatory state, then strengthened greatly, then paralyzed, and sent into battle. They usually have a massive ball on a chain, and they just swing it. That's when they become Loon Smasher. Quote, a single Loon Smasher is capable of I think I just typoed that. I wrote pulvicini, but I think that's supposed to say pulverize. Multiple heavy armored enemies at once, and they just as likely to swing off a cliff or right back into their own screaming allies. They only stop when they crash into a solid surface or messily wrap themselves around a tree or other columnar object. Yet, for those glorious few minutes of their life, they are an unstoppable force filled with cackling, ecstatic glee. Here's them. I have pictures of them. Look at the guy that's just flying out into space.
Just like a cut.
Look at the other guy who appears to be lying on the floor vomiting.
That's me. That's just straight up me.
So, there is, however, a type called a spore splatter that wields a giant fungus on a chain called a thwackweezer that spreads poison clouds wherever it goes. And, quote, their fumes see the mania of any nearby Gitz deepen while foes violently cough up their dissolving lungs, at least until the surprising weight of puff shroom clobbers them in the face with a wet thrup sound. That's THRRRP, by the way.
It's like thwip, but different.
Thrup. Thrup. Nope, that's too many R's. Thrup. Yeah, probably something like that. Thrup. You know, imagine you just get like punched in the face and like it almost kills you and it's just thrup, and that's the noise it makes. Okay, next unit we got Loon Boss on a Cave Squig. Then the next unit we got an actual important one that I need to point out every time. The Shaman, the Fungoid Cave Shaman, are considered to be the embodiment. Yeah, considered to be the grot embodiment of Mork, the cunning but brutal part of Gorkamorka, as opposed to Gork, the brutal but cunning side. This is possibly because they are bossy, possibly because they speak in prophecy. Who's to say?
Bossy
They speak
prophecy.
of
Bossy prophecy.
This is them, by the way. They speak of the Great Green, which is, so the book simply says it's a, quote, roiling dreamscape of destructive viridian.
Oh,
And that's the only information it says.
It's just, it's just weed.
No. That's the only information it says. However, I have read Prophet of Dwar, which is 40k, but it gives a bit more detail on the Great Green as the realm of chaos occupied by Gork and Mork, and it's also the Orc afterlife, and it's where Gaz keeps seeing, and his goal is to bring the Great Green into reality by killing everything that is an Orc. Presumably, the Great Green in AOS is the same deal. It's sort of their spirit realm, Orc afterlife.
And sometimes when they're traveling through it, they get to see Grumnir.
Yeah.
And they're just like, why is he on fire?
Up in the air whether the Great Green in 40k and the Great Green in Age of Sigmar are functionally the same thing. I want it to be known that I have written Orc with a C the entire time, except for the 2 times I was referring to 40k where it was I did with a K. No one would see that, but I want it to be known I made the distinction.
See, we're a pro mistakes podcast. It's okay to make mistakes. Unless they're not funny, in which case they get cut.
Nothing I did was a mistake. I don't know what what?
You said you wrote orcs with a C instead of a K.
No, I wrote orcs with a K every single time I was referring to Age of Sigmar orcs, which is spelled with a K. Technically, they don't call them orcs; they're called urks. But in fantasy, they're orcs with a C. Only in 40k are they spelled with a K. And when I was talking about orcs in 40k, I chucked a K in there.
That is so confusing.
It's not, but you know. The shamans, however, do speak very much with authority when they talk of the Great Green, and it makes them quite convincing, especially when their prophecy turns out to be true, and they can easily organize a fighting force.
Good for them.
Yeah. They aren't born this way, though. You know, capable. This is one of those, I have to quote it because I can't write as good as this is written moments. Quote, they fuel their big finkin with a large variety of highly toxic mushrooms stuffed down their throats daily. The resulting hallucinations propel a shaman's mind to a higher and often very, very weird plane of thought.
I think I had a teacher like that once. Sorry.
They do, however, really want to find a mushroom called a death cap to eat that will grow inside them and then burst out their fucking skull and create a mushroom hat that allegedly allows them to speak to the spirits of grots and at the very least very much helps with their ability to do magic better. They are also the only grots that orcs will actually respect and listen to, and by respect, I mean respect their position and words, not them as a person or as a grot. They don't respect them in that sense at all. But if you look at the grot picture I sent you, you can see the mushroom bursting out of his skull.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but it makes sense now that you say it's the death cap.
Yeah. Like, when you absolutely despise someone and wish them the worst, but you acknowledge that they are great at their job and you need to listen when they speak because they know what they are talking about.
Me.
That's how orcs feel about fungoid cave shamans.
Same.
Now,
So I feel every time I talk to you.
Yep. Lastly, Corgi, I present to you, Corgi,
No.
the Gobblepalooza.
The what?
The Gobblepalooza.
I am 1000% into this. Go on.
Okay, we got two pictures. Oh fuck! I actually only opened them. We got two pictures of the Gobblepalooza for you. These guys are just regular shamans and your go-to advisors if you're a boss grot worth your weight in gubbins.
I love them. Oh my god, that is definitely something I'm gonna buy. Oh my god, look at him. He's riding a weird fucking thing. Good for him.
The mushroom one?
Yeah.
Yeah. He also looks horrified.
Yeah, it's moving. Everything's moving. I have 4 arms. Help. I like the guy with the fucking goblin triceratops smiles.
Yeah.
Spooky doo.
I believe that is a squig skull.
That also makes a lot more sense than, goblin triceratops.
Sometimes, if you are a particularly good boss grot and all famous in that, you don't need to find a Gobblepalooza. They'll find you.
So it's just, they'll find you. You roll over in bed. Hi, boss!
Which, if you're not a fuckwit, the book said cunning, but same thing, you will accept them, because it makes you look more important. Gobblepaloozas will spend their time eating mushrooms and doing mushroom spells until they go mushroom mad. Then, as a fun side effect, grots around them also start going mushroom mad and get cool magical stuff happen to them, which is great when they get super strong, less cool when they dissolve into mushroom goop or explode into mushroom spores, or even less when it's the real world horrors of persistent hallucinogenic perception disorder.
We've all been there. Wait, what was that last bit?
I do love the idea of a fantasy setting being like, this is magic can cause horrible side effects as spontaneous combustion, perceiving time non-chronologically, random teleportation, and Tourette's syndrome. Watch out, guys. That wizard is going to cause bipolar disorder, and you'll have to spend the rest of your life managing episodes with medication and adequate mental health treatment.
And also avoiding going to Malaysia, where you will inevitably end up becoming a god, and then killed, and then another god comes out of you, and then you're everyone else's problem, until you're saved by the power of a hug.
Oh, right. You're talking about fucking
Century, yes.
Thunderbolts. Got it. Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to be convoluted.
Took me a moment. They are very hit or miss, hanging out in your lair. They are also, however, top tier in battle, just chugging drugs, casting spells, doing a great job. Also, top tier models, as we mentioned before.
Wait, what kind of models?
The ones on the right.
Oh.
The ones that you were like, you want to buy them?
Yeah, but for a brief second I was thinking of runway models.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking of that, but then I started wondering, how would you incorporate that into a design? Would you have sort of like a box silhouette? And not relevant. Long enough as is.
That's it for the Moonclans! Back to the timeline for 5 seconds. Drogs, the Sun Chomper, who rides a giant wolf called Jagged Snarl, is the leader of the Sun Chompers, a Gitmob clan. Used his tactical ability to conquer a large amount around Zonquil's shortcut, a realm gate in Heish, from the Lumineth, who weren't too happy about that, and constantly fought to take it back. But it was ruled for many decades by Drogs. However, after the Necroquake and magic gets a little fucky wucky for a biddy, it became possible to cast even stronger magic. Thus began the time of the Dead Killy magic. That's dead without an A. It was during this time that the forces of the dead pushed fucking everywhere, including the occupied area around Zonquil's shortcut. With the invasion of the dead and counterattack from the Lumineth elves that wanted them very much out of their land, the Sun Chompers were forced to flee through the Realm Gate and into the Kuprikon range of Golvaria in Akshi.
I almost corrected you and said Kubipedi, actually. No, man.
However, it was sometime during this retreat that Drogs was shot and killed by an enemy. And things were looking tense, but luckily, Drogs was able to rally his forces and they managed to escape through the Realm Gate. But now the Sun Chompers had a new fight to push the Cornite worshippers that infested Golvaria, but with Drogs as their leader, they had been managing very well.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. However, after the retreat was successful, every Grot who went, hey, wait, didn't he just get killed? Like, I'm 90% sure I saw him die, was subsequently executed and sentenced to be artillery. Or sentenced to be artillery.
What we learn, snitches get stitches.
So, Corgi, this brings us to our final subculture, the Gitmobs. Now, the Gitmobs differ pretty drastically from the Gloomspite, owing to the fact that they do not fear the sun. In fact, they revel in it. Now, this is not due to a love of the sun, they fucking hate it, but they don't shy away, predominantly attacking during the day from their mountain dens in Akshi and Haish, the sun. Now, I mentioned there is another name for the sun. We're going to play a game, Corgi. I'm going to give you 3 potential names for the sun, and you have to tell me the correct one. Is it A, the evil sun, B, Glareface Frazzlegit, or 3, Sparkle Sparkle Bellend?
Okay, how long have we known each other?
6 years. When did Marvel Rivals? When did Apex Legends come out?
No clue. But I'm pretty sure if
2018.
you know me long enough, you already know the answer I'm going to choose.
Which is?
The third one. The obviously stupid, wrong one.
What, Sparkle Sparkle Bellend?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't care if it's wrong, I'm choosing that one.
Do you want to rank which one? So that's what you're choosing. Do you want to rank which one you think is the most believable and which one is the least believable?
I don't think it's going to be the evil sun. I think it's going to be the other one.
Glareface Frazzlegit?
Yes.
You're right, it is Glareface Frazzlegit. That's the name of the sun, Glareface Frazzlegit.
If that was my legitimate answer, my shitpost answer was, of course, Sparky.
Sparkle Sparkle Bellend.
Yes, it's hilarious. Because that is 100% going to be my stripper name if I ever have a stripper name. This doesn't work out.
I had to think really hard for an orky kind of name.
It's so stupid. It's so obviously wrong, and I love it to bits.
Now, the Gitmobs have mastered the ability to construct weapons that absorb sunlight, which isn't like an amazing or even rare technology. What is weird is that the fucking Grots figured out how to do it.
I like to think they just found a really shiny crystal, put it on a stick, held it up, and they were like, holy shit, the sun's going darker. Yes!
Yeah. When the others that predominantly use this technology are the Lumineth elves, who are elves who live in Haish, and the Stormclast, whose equipment are made by the Dwarven Forge Gods. The fucking Grots figured it out, and it makes note that the Collegiate Arcane are offering money to anyone who can prove how their shamans managed to do it.
Quick question, have you seen The Good Place?
I've seen all but the final season of The Good Place.
Jason figured it out?
Yeah. We've referenced The Good Place before.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check.
Talked about something being a time knife.
Yeah, but like, the kids figured it out. Yep, this is a low one.
The Gitmobs do actually like stealing from the Lumineth because they can easily convert all their gubbins to their equipment, considering it comes with the Shine Steel and pre-installed. Stormcast, though, piss them off because when they die, they teleport back to Asia and take their shinies with them. Now, there is a purpose to them using shiny light-absorbing abilities, and we'll go back to our game. Is it A, very effective, 2, to use the weapons of their enemy to defeat their enemy, or C, they hope to absorb all the light on Glareface Frazzlegit to darken the skies, leaving only the bad moon?
I'm going to say the third one, just because
it's C.
Yeah. I just think of, instead of to steal the moon, it's to steal the sun.
Yeah. They think there is only so much light on Haish that if they keep absorbing it, eventually the sun will go out.
Are they right, though?
No.
Damn.
Now, the Gitmobs don't exactly play well with other Grots, so they tend to never interact, except when the bad moon shows up. Mm-hmm. Which, for the Gitmobs, is quite useful, because their light-absorbing equipment also absorbs the loon light, which, when mixed with daylight, creates a permanent shimmering fog that turns those who spend too much time in it mad.
Oh, just like actual sunlight.
Yeah. The thing about the Gitmobs is they are wolf riders, though they are called snarlfangs, which is why they live in dens, more in dens than caves, as it allows the snarlfangs to range, while also letting the Grots know when Frazzlegit is out. Now,
Frazzlegit escaped again! That fucking dick!
now, Back to Drogs. The legend of Drogs.
Sorry,
are known
Drogs, that's D-R-O-G-S, right? No you?
Nope. D-R-O-G-G-Z.
Okay, that's fine. Because it genuinely sounded like you said drugs. And I'm like, whoa,
Drogs.
okay. That speed's getting to you, man.
The legends of Drogs are known far and wide, and it is generally considered fucking stupid by the Grots that the Gitmobs want to take over the sun. That is until Drogs actually shows up and the myth of the ancient Grot warlord becomes very much reality. Drogs is a cunning but brutal leader, riding a great snarlfang called Jagged Snarl, very creative in the name, leading the Sun Chompers to be the largest of the Gitmob packs. He also makes usage of famed weapons, the Metal Tooth, a meteorite claimed to be the tooth of Frazzlegit, fashioned into a war pick. A shield that he can use as a flashbang, and to blind people.
Good for him.
Yeah. And a giant ring he keeps on his saddle called the Frazzlefangs, which surrounds him in light. Actually, hold up. This is Drogs, by the way.
Jesus Christ, honestly, this just looks like Warcraft to me. Genuinely. You could just say, yeah, that's an orc from Orgrimmar, and I would 100% go, yeah, that looks like one.
He's a goblin, but, so that shield can flashbang people. That's a meteorite in his right hand, and that thing behind him is the Frazzle Fangs, which surrounds him in light and makes him very hard to hit. You basically have to stare into the sun and hope you hit it. Now, the story of how he got this is believed by the Stun Chompers that he gave a bunch of shamans Haitian Realmstone until they figured out how to make it, and then their brains exploded from the knowledge they gained, which, yeah.
But not you, it'd never happen to you.
No. I can't imagine eating a bunch of magic fabric of reality rock has positive long-term lasting effects on your biology.
I'd give it a try.
So, Corgi, do you remember when I said Drogs fucking died?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just wasn't dead anymore?
He just came back. The light brought him back or something.
No. This is not a Makari Gaz thing where he's immortal and just gets brought back. It's a Dread Pirates Roberts thing.
Oh, there always has to be someone that inherits it.
Sort of. Drogs very much died to an elven arrow. It fucking killed him. Now, you might be wondering, Corgi, did some rando pick up his shit, take his wolf, and pretend to be him?
What I would have done.
The answer to that question is no. The wolf is smarter than him. The wolf picked the guy. Jagged Snarl grew up under elven technology and enlightenment engine, a thing that exists with minimal detail. By all accounts, it opens your mind, which presumably to a wild animal adds an extreme degree of intelligence, which made him smarter than the Grots.
If I wanted to annoy you right now, I would say, just like, shit, I've forgotten his name.
I also just realized that I don't actually reference the mist in this episode. I referenced the mist in the previous episode.
Stinger Flynn, that's it. Just like Stinger Flynn from Garden of Banban 3, where he complains about having sentience and just wants to be a regular old jellyfish.
I wish you could see my face and the fact I have no idea what the fuck those words are.
Which is
Garden of Banban 3. What the fuck does that mean?
It means, I did just say that if I wanted to be a shitter, I would say that. Garden of Banban, it's that fucking shitty game series where it's like, genuinely, how are these popular?
What?
You've probably heard of Garden of Banban, dude.
Anyway. Okay. Whatever the fuck Corgi was talking about. That doesn't help. That picture doesn't help. I don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway.
That's Queen Bouncelia, and I'll have you put respect on her name.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not even kidding. That's her name. And you know what that barrel is full of right next to her? It's full of this mysterious chemical called Givanium.
Anyway.
Fucking stupid series.
So when Sun Chomper died, the wolf went to his best bodyguard and basically appointed him the role. Then he killed everyone who saw it. He also at some point died, and exactly how many Sun Chompers there has been is only known to the wolf, but he prioritizes tactical ability and cruelty in his picks for Drogs. I do wonder how Jagged Snarl explained that they are now Drogs and not themselves, though
maybe it just
the current
them
Drogs
and gives them the sanguineous virus, but for drugs.
Yeah, but The current Drogs is stated to be of equal intelligence to the wolf, and they work very well together as a highly competent team, and that this was the Drogs that came up with the idea for the Frazzlefangs, which is probably why so many Drogs died. Now, in modern day, they have reclaimed Zonkwill's shortcut, and have their den set up at either side of the gate. But as far as their general culture goes, it's mostly Grot on a wolf. Their units, Grot on a wolf. Sometimes, Grot on a wolf chariot. That being said, their relationship with the wolves are tenuous at best. The wolves have all the power, and they could easily flip, much like the spiders. It's just more convenient that they don't do that. The Gitmob Grots are also just smarter than your average Grot, thanks to the powers of Glareface Frazzlegit. Mm-hmm. Their bosses are called Snarl bosses and have to, quote, unquote, tame an alpha wolf. Ew. They do this by feeding it the best meat, prioritize putting themselves in harm's way, and ultimately, as a final challenge, tricking the alpha into service, which, if they fail, they get eaten, like the spiders. They also have wolf chariots if they manage to tame, again, quote unquote, 2 alpha wolves. The quote unquote is on tame, by the way, not alpha wolves.
Yeah, because alpha wolves, and just cuts to them talking into a podcast mic.
I feel like I have to mention them. They have doom divers, basically a slingshot that fires grots strapped to wings. They wear a helmet that absorbs sunlight that explodes when they crash into whatever they hit.
Just thinking of the
that's what I mean when I say when Drogs killed a bunch of people, some of them were sentenced to be artillery. That's what happened to them.
To space.
They became doom diver cannibal artillery. Now, lastly, shamans. The Frazzlegit shamans spend most of their day staring at the sun. Same. Their prophecy is noted by the sunspots and floaters in their eyes. Same. Also, for some reason, this doesn't render them blind. Same. Presumably.
Not everything's about you.
Presumably because of the weird Heish magic. Not enough Heish magic to not render anyone else blind.
Don't say it.
What did you think I was going to say?
Same.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is, it also means that unlike other Grots, great day vision, trade-off being no night vision. Grots think this is a punishment from the bad moon. The Frazzlegit shamans don't seem to disagree, but view it as important to putting out Glareface Frazzlegit permanently. They also can make their vehicles go faster, and no one knows why. Grots have tried. Grots have failed. They eat nothing but fat, oil, and obscure spices, and highly flammable things, which make them glow.
Oh, me.
They think that might be why. Or it could be magic. Or it could be both. Again, Grots have tried and failed to replicate it. Their magic is mostly consists of putting lunestone powder on their high light staff, which then turns into a toxic smoke they control, and they just send it into people to die.
Fucking send it.
Yeah. A smoke that their best shamans can make permanent with rituals. With all the subcultures covered, it's time to talk about the Everdank Corgi.
Everdank.
Yeah, which doesn't actually have much information. Yeah. Could have sworn there was more information about the Everdank than there was, but the Everdank is the end goal of all Grots, and every boss Grot wants to be the one to bring it about. It's when the light of the bad moon overpowers Glareface Frazzlegit. That is why the Gitmobs are so focused on absorbing Heish. As for what exactly it is, the Moonclan see it as a time when all the dark, dank forests grow and mushrooms cover everything, while the Spiderfangs seem to think it as a time where the bad moon, which they believe to be an egg from the spider god, hatches and everything becomes spiders all the time.
Which one is it?
I thought the other factions...
Do we know what it actually does at the end? If the end ever came?
It's just when the bad moon is the only form of light, which would make everything mushrooms more than likely, considering when the bad moon appears and overpowers the light of Heish, everything becomes mushrooms. So the Moonclan is probably more accurate.
Yeah. Bastard.
Yeah. I thought the other factions had information. They did not. Even the Spiderfang is reading between the lines rather than explicitly stated. Now, we are, for the most part, sailing towards the end, covering the remainder of the timeline with one minor detour. Mm-hmm. And we are 2 hours and 45 minutes into the recording. Be interested to see where this is. Oh my god.
Yeah, I do not envy you.
No, that's not what I was saying. Oh my god, I just looked at the next line. Fuck. Okay. Scragrot sends Loon Boss Zagat to attack the Sylvaneth enclave of Neithingalik to
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need you to spell
NEITH_YLLLICH.
it. You lost me after NEI. You know what? Screw it. That's a you problem. I ain't writing that shit.
So he said Zagat to this place, go fuck it, to obtain a mirror prism, which absorbed the light of the bad moon. The Squigalanch, the actual word it uses, rushes through the caverns and slaughters their way to the mirror prism. The Loon Boss and the Elf Leader get into a sword fight, and then the bad moon energies make the underground lakes of the cavern burst their banks and drown everyone.
Good for them.
The bad moon has its own moon. Some claim it's its pet squig. Some claim it's the moon's gork to its mork. Some claim it's the moon's mork to its gork. Or that it's a great Moonclan leader that got rewarded for conquering 8 peaks, which, you know, not specified whether it's the 8 realms or the world that was, but it does match the description of Skarsnik, king of the 8 peaks, and chieftain of the Crooked Moon tribe from the world that was.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, Grand Boss Fangsplitter had an idea. Now, if you're wondering what a Grand Boss is, same. I looked, couldn't find it.
Probably like a regular
This seems to be the only
grand.
reference to what a Grand Boss is.
Grand with Grand no D.
Grand with a D.
Oh, Grand
Yeah.
Boss.
He wanted to create a brand new type of fanatic. You remember those little guys? The ones with the giant metal chain attached to the giant metal ball?
The Morningstar
That.
whips.
Yeah. So he stole a giant metal chain that was used to bind a god beast and was created by Grungni, and then intends to strap them to a pair of Mangala squids, who are very large squigs, then strap the other end to the not bad moon, the bad moon's moon. Strap it to the small moon, the moon's moon. However, there was a problem. How was he going to get into space? Ideas included stealing a Seraphon spaceship, which they have, by the way, never really mentioned this.
Well, I mean, it makes
The
sense 'cause
Seraphon-
they took a moon port. They've taken a moon port before, so it makes sense that they would be able to take,
the skyports.
Skyport, sorry.
There's a difference between a skyport, which is just a floating dirigible in the sky that you can like fly up to in a plane, and a spaceship
Right, sorry, my bad.
that travels through space.
My bad, I'm sorry, I thought a skyport could be somewhere that a fucking ship could also go. Damn, bro.
Again, spaceship, different vibe than a ship, a different vibe than an airship. It's like if a plane flies into space, that's a bad time. That shouldn't be there.
Semantics.
Everyone will die. Whereas if a spaceship flies into space, you're fine. That's where it's designed to be there.
Semantics.
Yeah. So the Seraphon weren't resurrected in the New World. They just, or the 8 realms, they just left Malice in spaceships before it blew up. Other plans included figuring out how to resurrect Boingob and jump to the moon. But the primary plan was attack the Lumineth elves of Zytrek, moon law, then use their magic to just pull the bad moon real close. So the Grots started poisoning their river, the elves sent an army to kill them, and after 3 days, they break the Grots and return home, only to find that while the army was gone, the Grots snuck into their scholarly towers from below, stole all their books and wizards and really just anyone who was in them, alongside charms that allowed them to talk to the moon spirit.
What dicks? What are you laughing at?
The Grots stole my charm that allows me to talk to the moon spirit. That's rough, buddy.
To the list.
The Caradron dwarves of Barak Zon amass the largest fleet they have ever made and attack Scrapper Spill to recover the wreckage of a legendary battleship sitting in the pile. The Grots panic as they are ripped apart, but Skargrot is chill. And then, because a wizard is never late, the bad moon appears and starts hurling meteorites at fleets, destroying its integrity and forcing them to flee in the Grot counterattack. Many warship wreckages then disappear following Skragrot's orders.
We've got him this time. the moon from Majora's Mask.
More or less, yeah. A rabble-rouser by the name of Braggart Big Talker
Love it.
wants to be famous. He decides to wake up the largest of the Troggoths, Trug, the king of Troggoths, and he succeeds in doing so. Trug then tried to kill Braggart and chased him through the realms into Akshi, because he didn't want to be woken up. The problem being, Trug was asleep for so long, an ancient civilization thought he was a rock, so they built a magic portal on his back, which absorbed the powers of the ley lines to give him a headache.
Just being
This led
chased
him
by a
to the
warp gate. Just imagine getting chased by a fucking warp gate.
More or less, yeah. This led him to the adamantine chain to destroy as many nexus points as possible in the hope of ending the headaches. He killed a lot of people.
Good for him.
Almost destroyed an entire Dawnbringer crusade, which brings us to our last tangent. I was going to talk about Braggart, but the only information that we didn't include is that he's nomadic. So Trug, no one knows how long Trug has been asleep for, though it is possible it's been since Gorkamorka disappeared. But old enough to be mistaken for rocks, due to the fact that he was asleep in Giran and the weird ring portal thing on his back, he has grown antlers. He also allegedly dwarves all other Troggoths, but that doesn't really come across well in the art. As you can see, Corgi, that's him in the front, and then you can see Troggoths behind him that are roughly the same size.
Fucking horrifying. Yeah, no, if that thing's coming at me, I'm just killing myself before it can catch me.
Yeah, that woman looks remarkably chill. Even the guy kind of like pulling her along is just like, oh.
Oh, great, that guy's away.
That seems like a problem. I guess we should just leave while the army is like, oh no. Anyway.
But that's someone else's problem. Carry on.
Yeah. The thing that also makes him a force to be reckoned with in battle, more than just his size, is that his portal is still active and just does random shit during battle.
Oh, so
powering
literally.
him and all nearby Troggoths in a way that is unpredictable and makes anti-troll tactics fucking worthless.
They're literally getting chased by a warp portal, essentially.
Yeah. It's less a warp portal because it doesn't really summon stuff, but it does just cast random spells. It just absorbs magic from around and just casts random spells. Now, I'm going to read this next part, quote, "The Great Stinkhorn."
Me.
The Great Stinkhorn, a mushroom of prodigious size and odor, is discovered in the gnarlwoods of Gur. To the Grots, this fungal aberration is nothing less than a living god. Mobs surge forth from across the realms of beasts to bask in the Stinkhorn's spore-laced shadow. Some Grots, convinced that they are holy warriors defending an embodiment of the Everdank, join the loon court of Grinkrak. This particularly cunning Grot chief possesses a bosun baton, said to bestow knightly daring do upon even the meekest Grot, provided it is used to give them a good whack on the noggin first.
Why is that surprisingly wholesome?
They just want to be little mushroom knights.
Mushroom man. Also, you will see that as we reach the end, my notes have gotten a lot more off topic.
So, Kragnos wakes up. We'll talk about him some other time. He does have a page in this book, but we are already going so long. The short of it, he's a god that was imprisoned. Then when he got out, brought about the Age of Beasts and bringing energy to everything powered by Gur,
What's
including...
the Age of Beasts again?
Just a time. Specifically 3rd edition.
Gotcha. Okay.
So 3rd edition was set during the Age of Beasts. So I used the 3rd edition and the 4th edition tome. The fourth edition is set during the time of ruin, which is when the Skaven get powered up.
Right, gotcha.
2nd edition was... Well, 1st edition was set during the Age of Sigmar, when that had just started. The 2nd edition was set during the... I don't know what... Realmgate Wars? I think maybe that was actually the 1st edition, was the Realmgate Wars. I think 1st edition with the Realmgate Wars, actually. 2nd edition is when Nagash is doing all his demon shit, and the Necroquake happens and all of that, and it's all the powers up of death and all that. Age of Beasts is 3rd edition. That is when Kragnos comes back, forces of destruction get powered up, and they have all this stuff. And then 4th edition, Realm of Ruin, Age of Ruin?
Age of Sigmar?
No. Hour of Ruin. And then that is when, what's his face? What's the Skaven god called? Horned Rat becomes, the 5th Chaos God and ascends, and everything goes terribly wrong for everyone but the Skaven.
Just like real life.
Now, during the Age of Beasts, Kragnos brought energy to everything powered by Gur, including the Greenskins. So with this, Skragrot and Snazgar teamed up with an orc megaboss, Gordrak, who we mentioned earlier, to steal a bunch of artifacts from the city of Excelsius. Doesn't go great. So Gordrak leaves to march on the city rather than follow the plan, which he thought had, quote, too much thinking. And then Snazgar said, how about you don't and just follow the plan? And Gordrak fucking killed him. Fed him to his dragon thing. Big teeth. Same as his dragon thing.
Oh, I love it.
While Gordrak, you can look up Gordrak. He's got a really cool model, like pre-model. His model is also on big teeth, so you can see what big teeth looks like.
God damn. Yeah. I want a big teeth.
While Gordrak was on his way, he ran into Kragnose, and they got into a scrap, which went very poorly for Gordrak, until Scragrok and the Bad Moon showed up to save them. They then all had a big chat and decided to team up and destroy the city together, which they did! However, at the last moment, the forces of order managed to create a desperate ragtag army and beat them back. Most of the city was absolutely fucked though, and there are still Grots living under the city to this day.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Here's some body horror for you, Corgi. Remember how I said Scragrot took those warships and put them somewhere? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scragrot uses the power up to exercise a plan, like the Age of Beast power up, to exercise a plan to get rid of every opponent in Aeda, the continent of Shaman he lives in. In his free time, he spends focusing on an orrery that he had built by his Gitz that have no-whats. No-whats is what they refer to every single time someone knows what the fuck they're talking about in the codex. It's just like they have no-whats or no-hows. His no-what Gitz used a combination of Azurite stellariums, Azurite being things from Azir, heaven, and stellariums being 3D maps of the stars, along with ether navigation systems he pulled from the Caradron warships, alongside mutant fungus seers from his asylum that they melded into the orrery. Every planetarium has at least one astrophysicist interred into the wall.
Jesus.
If you didn't know that, how else are the planetariums supposed to do all that science stuff? The space science.
They saw servitors and were like, yeah, we'll fix it.
Yeah. It's literally impossible unless you inter an astrophysicist into the walls. It's just a known part of science. So, just going to read this quote. These wretched souls are grotesquely melding into the workings of the orrery, gibbering prophecies as gears agonizingly grind within their spongy flesh, or the revolving dials and rings to which they are hooked whirl them around at terrible velocity. Does a great job at predicting celestial disturbances, though. It's not quite finished, though, and Scragrok is hoping that when it is, he will be able to perfectly predict when and where the Bad Moon will show up. Lastly, the Hour of Ruin. When the Skaven exploded through the bounds of reality, things aren't going great for Scragrok. He lost a decent chunk of the lower levels of Scrapper Spill to constant Skaven siege that came from inside, bypassing all the impenetrable defenses.
We do like to do that.
Yeah. Sunchompers, on the other hand, finally took all of Golvaria after Jagged Snarl ate a Demon Lord.
Just straight up.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that does it for today's video. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe, also maybe share to like Reddit or something. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't expect you to say. I also have I hope to never make a video this long again. This script was 16 pages with 10,000 words. 10,820 to be exact. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, especially if you are one of the people who came from the shorts, that's cool. I doubt it's going to have much effect on our views at the moment, but hey, maybe it does. We have just finished this at about 3 hours and 5 minutes, so I fucking called it on that this was going to be a 3-hour recording.
Yes, you did.
Ugh, I can sleep.
Yeah.
I won't sleep. I have to eat dinner, and then I'm going to go sleep.
Yeah, you have definitely earned it, man.
Well, that provides that I actually sleep. Again, my lack of sleep was not for a lack of trying. I did try to sleep, and I did sleep briefly. I do hope to stay asleep this time when I attempt to sleep, but we'll see. We'll see when the next video comes out. I will make a short. Probably make an orc short. Probably. Seems like I have to explain how orc magic works to people. So that will be out if I do it. Hopefully, I've written most of the script. Hopefully Corgi works on new comics. She is working on some. There's one that's finished. There is one that is finished.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Now that Corgi can live with the fact that 39,000 people have seen her comic. That's not including the people on Reddit as well. There was a lot more people on
Don't
Reddit.
make me anxious, man. I will.
And also for the next video, I want to get someone else in because I think it'd be funny. This adds the chance of even further scheduling conflicts. So we will see how that goes. 3 hours and 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Anyway, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. This is before the start of the episode. We're talking about before we started recording, and then we were like, oh, we should really record this. I was explaining to Corgi the entire concept of like those limited time event miniatures that they release from time to time, and how I just generally don't buy them.
You gave me shit for my gotchas.
As I said, I don't buy them. The other one I bought a made to order Yarrick, like a classic made to order Yarrick. And I think I bought like a modern one. I think I wanted also one of the original ones, but I couldn't be fucked. It was a lot of money, and I was like, nah. I think I bought a classic Commissar, which I owned originally, and it was one of the few models I don't own anymore. And they made it a made to order, so I just bought it again. And then it was Mitalensk, the sausage rattling sniper. I buy a lot of like female guardsmen because it was at the time when before the new guardsman lineup where they just added a bunch of female guardsmen, and there's a model that I genuinely don't remember buying, and I don't know what it is. I think it's a female commissar, but I have no memory of buying this model. It's a fucking Forge World model. It's not Forge World, it was Games Workshop, but I don't remember the word that they make. Resin. It was a resin model. It's one of few resin models I have, but yeah, just I have that sitting there.
I don't know what this is.
And every now and then I just look at it and go, what the fuck is that? Because it's not in a box. Mina Lensk is at least in a box. The rattling is at least in a box. I can look at that and go, it's in a box. I know what that is. This is just a sprue in a plastic container.
Don't say jar.
No, plastic container, and I go, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't remember buying this.
Whatever it is, I'm not touching it.
Well, it hasn't been built. It's sitting in my massive pile of shame. Next to St. Celestine in Morven Vale. I was explaining to a guy at a hobby shop because I went to buy the next codex, which they didn't have in stock, but I bought the orcs and orc codex because I'll do an orc video. Yes, I was like, maybe I should talk about this later, but no, I'll do an orc video soon. But he was like, oh, you could get some orcs and paint them up, which I do have orcs. I have the kill team box for orcs, so I have the orc commando team. But I made the bases for it and then forgot I did that. Forgot to build the orcs. But he was like, oh, they're pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, the only like, because I don't play, I just collect. And he was an orc player. He was like, oh, they're pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, the only one like I really want, like properly want, is Gaz and Makari. But I don't have the painting skill to do Gaz and Makari justice. So it'll just be like my St. Celestine and Morven Vale, where I bought it. I own it. They're just there in a box that I don't have the painting skill to do that in a level where I think it does the hero justice. It'll take a very long time before I paint any of my heroes that I own. It'll just be like, oh yeah, I'll paint all my units and lieutenants and commanders and all that. But the heroes, they won't get painted until much later when I actually am competent at painting. Well, more than competent. I am competent when I'm actually talented at painting. But anyway. That's starting off with some end of video content before we even start the fucking intro. I when I was like explaining
He's not the Australian goddamn Walter White.
When I was explaining like to my friends like, oh, I'm getting prescribed to ADHD and all that, and I was explaining like dexamphetamine and all that, I was like, oh, it's meth, and I call it meth, they all call it meth, everyone calls it meth, and then I was talking to my dad about it, and I call it meth, and my dad also has ADHD. Where the fuck do you think I got it from? And he's been on dexamphetamine for ages, and he was like, it's not meth, it's speed. And he was quick to correct me. No, you're not on meth. You're on speed, a completely different illicit drug. Thanks, man.
I mean, was he wrong?
No, but you know.
I'm sorry. What the... God, I hate YouTube sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna come up with this new feature and we're gonna get it be pushed to more people. What should we call it? Hype.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It makes sense and it sounds kind of cool, but also like...
No, it doesn't sound cool. I mean, the only way it could have been
No,
even
like as an
more
idea.
uncool was
Like
if
as
they
a
said,
as a
"Hit the
conceptual
road."
idea, it sounds cool. Not as a like name, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck would you call it? Sparky Popular Show?
Duh.
Hype at least makes sense to what it is. It's like you basically, it's a special like button that it gets
No.
the thing put on a fucking leaderboard, and then like people that see it gets pushed more because people are like, this is a great video or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Shove this in strangers' faces until they block you. That's what I'd call it, man.
Anyway, the other day I rushed to release a Winds of Magic video. The next day, I had a tradie coming over. Been a recurring thing for foreigners. For people who aren't from Australia. A tradie is like a tradesperson. It's someone who like in this, like an electrician or a carpenter or
Electrum.
Yeah, in this case, it was a guy to install air conditioning and Ethernet. Same guy. But part of the reason I have been so busy was dealing with the tradies and getting quotes and having tradies coming over and them turning off my internet and my power as they were installing things because fucking Corgi is like...
You're the one who messages me almost daily. Move to Brisbane.
Yeah.
To Brisbane.
And there we are. Get bullied, nerd. Anyway, this time to install Ethernet in my walls so I don't have to run a 30-meter Ethernet cable running across the ground and sticky tape to the walls to go upstairs. It's been like that for the 5 years I've lived in this house.
Oh yeah.
I then bought a 2-meter Ethernet cable and it's too short. I need to buy that. Fuck. But they only sell like 2 to 5, and like a 5-meter Ethernet cable is way too long. So because I need like a 2.3-meter Ethernet cable. But anyway, point is, having to deal with quotes, I had a dream where I had a different tradie than the one I've been using, and Dream Tradie tried to charge me $8,000 to install Charmon into my home, and I had to keep trying to explain to him, I don't need Charmon, I need Ethernet, and that's only $800. And he was like, nah, man, you need Charmon to make the internet run faster. And I got really frustrated and woke up angry. Don't read Warhammer lore while sleep deprived and stressed. You will have Warhammer stress dreams about house repairs or house installations.
And then you'll have to repair your house because
Yeah.
of how angry you are.
As an aside, I mentioned in the Lamenters video, my dad has a deep knowledge of Dune. When I was first getting into Warhammer as a kid, my dad asked about it, and I mentioned the God Emperor, and he was like Dune? And I was like, I don't know. So he asked if he was a giant worm, and I told him he was stuck in a chair, and he went, yeah, that's close enough. I think he read the primer in one of the books, and he was like, this is just Dune.
Just Dune with extra steps.
Yeah.
A little less spice addiction.
Yeah. I was just like reading the book and having a panic. Oh, my phone alarm's going off. For
And having a panic alarm.
Yeah. For work, but I don't have work today because it's a fucking public holiday. Also, just an aside, I said Old English. When I say Old English, I mean fucking Old English. It annoys the fuck out of me when people say Old English and you're like, oh shit, yeah, Old English. And then they're just referring to early modern English. They're referring to modern English, just modern English from like the 1800s. And you're like, I can read this. You know what I can't fucking read? Old English. It has like 7 other letters that don't exist in the alphabet anymore, including Thorn, which we should bring back because Thorn is fucking baller. And an Eth,
seconded.
fucking Eths. Eth and Thorn pronounced the same way, but whatever, who gives a shit? But like, I can read Old English. I can't fucking understand Old English. I don't know what the fucking words mean, but I know what the letters mean because they're the same fucking letters, and I know how to pronounce some of the other ones. But then people will be like, oh, Old English. And I was like, shut up.
Old English is just ye old Shakespearean liketh. No, it's not.
But even then,
That's
like,
just Geol.
Shakespeare is like the border between Middle English and early modern English. I think is still definitionally early modern English, but it's still that there's still like some holdovers of
Upon what
Middle
yonder
English.
to the
Yeah.
fucking break.
Middle English is
motherfucker.
understandable. You can understand Middle English. You can read it and understand it. You can
Yeah.
you can understand early modern English. It just takes a moment. Old English, you'll get like a word. Like you'll see father and be like, that's father. I got that. And then it'll be like earthland, and you're like, huh? And then it's earth. There's a if you just search Old English Lord's Prayer, there's a really good example of Old English, Middle English, and early modern English and English, modern English.
Yeah, like for example, like I've got like something up here, and it just looks Icelandic, genuinely. Na Ingerhitagum.
Yeah, Icelandic is
Good
one of
seeing
the only Nordic language that still uses a bunch of. I think the only Nordic language that still uses Thorn. There's a show I watched a little bit of that was really good called Beforeigners. It's a Danish show, I think, Swedish show, Norwegian show. It's a Scandinavian show, but it's a bunch of people from the past get shunted into the present. I need to finish that. It was a really good show. But
Is that the same thing that? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Outlander.
no, I actually want to talk about
recommended it to me.
Outlander. We'll cycle back to Outlander in a moment. But
Let me tell you about fucking Outlander.
but the fucking what was it? Oh, Beforeigners. Where they have this guy show up, and this was before they realized like a bunch of people in the past got shunted into modern day. And the guy shows up and he's speaking Old English, and they're just like, I don't know what language this is. I can't understand him. And then eventually he's like, I don't know. It sounds Icelandic. Maybe we can get like an Icelander over, find out, see if someone's like Icelandic. And then they find an Icelandic guy, and he comes in and he talks to the guy for like a minute, and he's like, yeah, no, he's not Icelandic. He's speaking Old English. I got like half of what he said, but I got some of it. And he sort of explains what happened. And it's like, it just happens like there is a crossover between Icelandic and Old English where they can still, to a degree, converse. Similarly, I think Frisians can. The language is so close to Old English that Frisians, you can speak Old English to Frisians, and they can understand it.
Frisians. Frisians.
They're in like
Friesa.
where did the Dutch live?
The
Netherlands. Yeah, they're from the Netherlands, sort of that area. It's a region that I believe crosses multiple countries. It's not an independent nation. So Frisians and the language is in multiple countries. I think it also extends into France a little bit. Or Frisians, yeah. Frisians. Anyway, Outlander.
No, I wasn't correcting you. I didn't know what the fuck they were.
Yeah, I
heard that,
but
just
I think
sort
you
of
might be right.
Friesa.
I think it might be Frisians. Just to decide about Outlander, because I've always wanted to bring up the story, but I've never had the opportunity to, because there's absolutely no reason to talk about Outlander.
I just had to open my mouth.
Yeah, my wife reads and watches Outlander. She's currently watching the new one, but my mum also reads and watches it, and like the books have always sort of been around, and she was watching it as a show, but I didn't know anything about it. I just sort of knew it was a period piece, and that was all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking by like back when I lived with my parents, and my mom was watching Outlander, or she was watching a show, and it was, you know, modern-ish England, and it like she's talking to her daughter or something, and the daughter is like, so he's just some guy you fucked, and she's like, he's not just some guy I fucked, and I was like, what the fuck are you watching? And she was like, Outlander. And I'm like, first of all, they swear in Outlander? I thought this was just like a family-friendly sort of like period piece. What the fuck you mean? He's not just some guy I fucked. First of all. And then I'm like, isn't Outlander like a period piece? Isn't it like the 1500s? And she was like, yeah, it's like the 1600s, but it's a time travel thing. She gets set back in time. I'm like, the fuck you mean it's a time travel thing? What?
Yeah, and I think it's also the same one where she she has an abusive boyfriend back in the present time.
Yeah!
And then she hooks up with the guy who looks exactly like her abusive boyfriend, but she's like, it's okay because he's fine. He's a nicer version.
But she travels through time. It's a sci-fi show. It's not a period piece. It's a sci-fi. What the fuck? Anyway, that's why I want to talk about Outlander. What the fuck? What do you mean it's a sci-fi?
Oh, I've got no clue, but...
And all the Moonclan clan...
And maybe you just reminded me that I need to see how much Silksong is while the sale's on.
Full price.
Fuck.
I'll tell you now, it's full price. The game that came out like a month ago, full price.
I forgore, okay. And yes, it is. $29.50.
Yeah.
Is it ever directed at Sniffy?
I mean, everyone yells at Sniffy, but that's because she can't hear anything over her barking. So you have to yell to be louder than her, and then she goes, "Oh, what?" And then you go, "Stop barking," and she goes, "Oh, okay." What if
barking,
I did
we
bark?
know there's people outside. And she's like,
she was trying to dig through the fence the other day, and I don't mean under the fence, I mean through the fence. It wasn't working.
Yeah, no shit, it wasn't working. This wood isn't moving. What the fuck, Dad?
Yeah, there's now just a bunch of claw marks on the wood on the fence. She saw a dog.
Yeah, well, I can always see another rider.
Yeah, but can you see another rider who is insane, doesn't sleep, takes meth, legally?
Che, you just described half of literature's classics. I swear to God, you just described Poe right there.
And reads way too much Warhammer lore.
If Poe was still alive today, that would still be him. I genuinely do think Edgar Allan Poe would just sit down.
I don't think Edgar Allan Poe would know what the fuck a Warhammer was.
He would open up a codices in the modern day, look at it and go, oh, well, and I thought I was good at the dread poems. Just keep going through it and they'll be like, why are there so many contradictions? What the fuck is this? People pay hundreds for this?
This is going to be the whole fucking Benjamin Franklin thing, right? Where it's like, oh, you know, if we brought back Benjamin Franklin now, he would look at the state of America and be like, this sucks. And then you actually being Benjamin Franklin, and he's just looking at Pornhub, and he's like, oh, you mean I can look at MILFs for free? That would be what I would be doing. Was I would be like, Poe, look at Warhammer, and he would be like, I'd be like, this guy's named after you, and he quotes you and stuff, and then he'd be like, what do you mean? I'm doing LSD. Did you know about LSD? They made it in a lab. This shit is tight.
Why should I give a shit? I'm on ketamine. I can see fucking Space God right now. You're talking to me about what? God, Benjamin Franklin would be great to get fucking just blasted with.
Okay, yeah, I was like, where is this going? And then you're like, is she just gonna be like, get railed by? And then, yes.
No, blasted with drugs. Do drugs with him. I don't want to have sex with Benjamin Franklin.
That's not what blasted is. Blasted, yeah. Blasted, no.
My brain might have gotten those two mixed up. The shine stealing?
Yeah, it absorbs sunlight.
Like a solar panel.
Yeah. Were you listening to anything I just said in the past, 2 minutes?
Look,
okay, let's run this back from the
I'm
beginning.
Sorry, it's been 2 hours.
2.5, please. And we're 4 pages off.
Go again.
Yeah.
Go again. I promise I'll pay attention and stop drawing Abaddon from Haunted Hotel.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway, what the fuck did I write? And generally, because it's fucking stupid by the Grots. 1 sec. So,